San Diego and Southern California. What's going on? Hour one of Jon and Jim with you for the next 3 hours. And over the next 60 minutes, we'll get you ready for game one of a series between the Padres and Orioles in Baltimore. It's always great to connect with Kevin Acee. We'll do it right now off the top of the show. So, Kevin, we appreciate it. We can look ahead to the deadline in this weekend, but I want to start with yesterday and just the overall dominant run that Dylan Cease is on. Throws the no-hitter, the second in franchise history. You've been writing about it. You were there for it. What impressed you most about what you saw yesterday from Cease in his no-hitter? And thanks for joining us today.
Hey, it's hard to top a no-hitter, right? But everything has to come together, and there have been a lot of really good games pitched where a guy didn't get a no-hitter, right? But what's amazing to me is this running song. This no-hitter is good for him. He got that, and he will always be known for that. You know, that's what we call immortal, right? His memory, his legacy now includes a no-hitter, and he it just felt like he was going to get it. It did, and especially the play in the fifth inning where it's man, you got to have one of those, and that was about as good as it gets with Xander Bogaerts. And Xander, by the way, was talking about it. He didn't want to get hit by Jackson Merrill, and so he got the ball hits his glove, it goes up, and Jackson Merrill's right there. I mean, that was mind-boggling, and it just felt like Dylan was so dominant. But it's felt like that for 2 weeks now. 3 starts in particular, and 22 innings, 30 strikeouts, 2 hits, no runs. That has never been done in baseball. That's what I can't get over is how good he's been. And the fact that, and I wrote about this a couple of weeks ago, that I had some screenshots in my newsletter about the difference in his delivery and that he brought the glove in closer. Well, just today, he's talking about it, and I didn't realize this. That was on accident, basically. They thought his pitches, he was tipping something. So they decided to bring his glove in closer, and he threw the ball, and he's like, wow, it feels really good. And he changed his delivery, and since then he hasn't a lot of runs.
Yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic with the emergence now of Dylan Cease. Hopefully this continues for the rest of this season. Michael King and Matt Waldron, and they have a pretty good 1-2-3 here, Kevin. And we know the trade deadline coming up on Tuesday. Is AJ Preller still, you think, looking for a frontline starter, or what's the latest with what you've heard about what AJ Preller is actually looking for here coming up at the deadline in about a couple days?
It's always been a reliever, a right-handed reliever, and a back-end starter. And now more than ever is the word, because Joe Musgrove does look to have shown that he can get through this and return this year. Now, look, he's still got to go out and throw 4, at least, maybe 5 rehab starts, and then come back. He would like to be built up by the time he comes back so he can hit the ground and be a productive member of the rotation. So there's still work to be done. I'm not saying Joe Musgrove is back, but the excitement that I felt from people yesterday was different. And the excitement from Joe was different. He went all out in a bullpen on Wednesday at National Park, and it was like this big test that they passed. So Joe's coming back, and Randy Vasquez has stepped up, and I would include him in there. I'm not saying he's up at the level of 3 guys that you mentioned, but he's been really good for a number 4 starter. And so they feel really good about what they've got. Maybe not so much the guy going tonight, Adam Major, but that's okay because sometimes you have to have these starts, right? So it is about a guy who can give them 7 or 8 starts and better than Rich Hill. But maybe what Rich Hill was early with the Pirates last year, what they thought they were getting with Rich Hill. And that is something that they, at least people that I've talked to, they feel like that's a good market to be in. As much as there are people out there, so many teams and teams with better prospects and with more money, but those teams might be going for higher end starters. The Padres feel like there's a good open market for them to find a 4 or 5 starter.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. He's in Baltimore where the Padres and Orioles will play game 1 of a 3-game series coming up in 1 hour. Speaking of health updates, you just had one on Joe Musgrove. Is there an update on Fernando Tatis Jr.?
There's not an update on him. He continues to, do stuff. And that's about the update that you can expect or would want at this point. I believe, are we talking where we a week, 2? So maybe next week, I haven't checked on this in the last few days, but maybe next week, another MRI, see where the stress reaction is at. And he could intensify further, could even be clear to start like hitting against live pitching. So that would be great. Now that's me getting ahead of myself or ahead of him. But that's where we're at, is that both he and Joe probably end of August. And it could be, since Joe probably is going to do a rehab on Tuesday, probably a rookie ball, just a real preliminary rehab, Joe before Fernando could be at this point.
Back to the trade deadline, Kevin, as we get closer here, is it more apparent to you that, yeah, Ethan Salas and DeVries are 100% off limits here?
Yeah, but this is why I hate the trade deadline. And I mean, yes, it has always been that way. And then we get close, and a couple people telling me, "Oh, I wouldn't necessarily say that," and I'm just like, whatever. They're just that's not what they're going to give us. They don't believe that they need to, and also they believe they need to have guys like that. Plus, the thing that people got to remember, like they shaved $100 million off their payroll for a reason. And going forward, it's not going to be getting higher, or at least not exponentially higher. Might go up with inflation, but their payroll is they need to keep it under control. And the fact is, they're already paying a lot of players, and it's like, no matter what you're going to do at the trade deadline, you need the guys you have, like Manny Machado, to perform. And so if you'd be talking about giving up DeVries, Salas, you'd be saying that you're going out to get top end. Now probably a pitcher, yeah. But you'd be talking about you're going out to get a top end guy, and they don't think that they should have to do that, because look, no matter what they do, like I said, there's a belief in the organization, we've got a good team. And so why would we we don't need to do that.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. I'll follow down that path, though, because we've heard Preller having interest in Crochet, Garrett Crochet, the White Sox, at least over periods of time over the last few months. Now, I don't think it's a perfect fit for 2024. He's up against maybe an innings limit. He's talked about a desire for an extension. He is under control right now through 2025 and 2026. Based on everything you've heard and what you just said, would that kind of rule out the possibility of someone like Crochet potentially for this year at this deadline?
That's what everyone says. I thought that, and I think that all the reporting all along actually was that it was pretty much a long shot. But I thought that all along they loved him. They were committing an awful lot of resources to watching him, because that's what AJ Preller does. Where there's a will, there's a way. Is how he charges after things. But that, look, once other teams were on him, especially really on him. That just seems highly unlikely. And look, if there's anyone who's going to kind of do something creative, okay, let's get a guy who isn't going to pitch for us in the playoffs. We'll make it work somehow, I guess. I'm always nervous because you never rule that out for AJ. But the fact is, it's a really important year for the Padres, and that's an awful lot to give up for a guy who isn't going to help you this year. And then working an extension, I don't think people are really paying attention to the financial situation of the Padres. Garrett Crochet's extension is going to be pretty healthy.
Yeah, it should be whenever he gets that. Donovan Solano, he's only played one time since the All-Star break. I know that Xander Bogaerts is playing great right now, but are they are they going to find ways to get him in there more, or is he just going to be now what he is, which is pretty much a predominant bench piece for this team?
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. It just feels like Donovan Solano, since there's not a lot out there, though I guess stuff is starting to open up. If Donovan Solano at whatever the rest of his price would be, might be something that you can package with somebody for a team that needs somebody who's hitting 300, right? Donovan Solano's not a fluke. He hit 280 over the last 2 years, I think. And this year is showing that he can still play. It just feels that Donovan Solano is a luxury the Padres can afford right now. Like, and he's the one you're going to trade. Like, you can make me an argument that he should be playing for the Padres, and I'm not going to argue with you. But like, he's the one you can trade. You can't trade Xander Bogaerts. You can't trade Jake Cronenworth. There's just limitations on that. So it just feels like Donovan Solano is an extraneous guy. All things considered, he doesn't play the outfield. Like, you can ask me, why is Bryce Johnson playing? Well, I don't know. He plays good defense, and Peralta has not done great, even though he's pretty good in his career against lefties. Like, that would be your answer. That's what's happening. But like, Donovan Solano can't replace Bryce Johnson, so like, where's he gonna play? You're already having Luis Ariz do something that he's not exactly the biggest fan of, and that's being a DH. And actually, none of these guys like being DHs. So that's a lot of words for me to tell you they've got too many infielders.
I mean, I think the easy solution, which I don't know if Schultz been asked about it yet, I may have,
Tell me.
is why is Jake Cronenworth playing against left-handed pitching when Donovan Solano's a 300 hitter this year and Jake's hitting 200?
Yeah, so it's a decent question. Look, there have been times that Jake has certainly come through big against lefties. They do seem to have a soft spot for Jake, as I do, because I think he's a winning player. They really like his defense, and look, going whatever it is, 0 for 10, I think, against lefties at this point, or maybe it's even more than that. It's his last 12 at bats, something like that. Has brought the batting average down. It was on its way back up. So I don't know that that's like, okay, they faced 2 lefties in the last 20 games, I think. So there's a partial solution. Or before they just faced 3 in a row. They had faced like 2 in quite some time, right? So like, that's a partial solution, but then also, I just don't think that's the full solution, but that is absolutely something that that would be an easy fix on days like yesterday.
Kevin, before you go, I know Bryce Miller, your colleague, columnist at the UT, wrote about both Donovan Solano, but also Ha-Seong Kim. Now, Kim, a regular on a good team that's playing good baseball. I know it's not his best year, maybe offensively. You'd be very surprised if Ha-Seong Kim moved, right?
I would be for a lot of reasons, because not having the greatest year. I mean, and all you hear about is that he's going to be a free agent next year because mutual options, that's just what that means. Like, I think he's overpaid right now. And but free agency is a different story, and I'm sure he'll get more than $7 million next year. But you're talking about like renting Ha-Seong Kim. That just doesn't make sense. Plus, look, again, they believe they've got a good team, and a part of that is the chemistry. And if Ha-Seong Kim didn't bring anything to the team, then I wouldn't be talking about chemistry. But he does bring value to the team. And then he's also extremely well-liked and close with a lot of very important players on this team. And I just don't know that there's a real upside to that. So those 2 things, the fact that I don't think the demand is great, certainly not as great as it was before the season. And also, I just don't think it makes sense for them to part with Ha-Seong.
Busy time of year, no question about it. Kevin, we always appreciate your insight. We'll do it again next week when the Padres are back home, and thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, we'll have 2 new pitchers by then, a reliever and a starter. We'll talk
Guarantee it, Kevin. Guarantee it.
Talk to you later.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
Two new pitchers, John.
We'll react to it on the other side, plus a very busy 24 hours at the trade deadline with it approaching in Major League Baseball. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. By the way, next week we have tickets to a show that will be sold out. Luke Bryan, August 8th. We have tickets next week to see Luke Bryan at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets at info@ticketmaster.com. We have Niall Horn tickets to give away today. Next week, a sold out show. Luke Bryan, August 8th, coming up. We'll give those away. So be listening right here to Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760. So Kevin Acee just joined us. Padres and Orioles are going to play in about 45 minutes or so. Kevin didn't guarantee it, but said the Padres will add a right-handed reliever and a back-end starter between now and the trade deadline. I have a feeling that he's going to be correct on that one. Obviously seeking help at the back of the rotation, considering they have just 4 starters. And I'm sure they're looking for bullpen help because basically every contender is looking for bullpen help, and the Padres are at least a wild card contender right now.
Yeah. I also think you can't tell me that AJ Preller still hasn't been checking in here because he's just that type of GM.
Sure.
Will it happen? The likelihood of that probably pretty low. And I said yesterday, John, for me, if these reports are true, which it seems like they are about his contract, because today he got interviewed about it and he didn't even answer the question. He said pretty much his next question type of thing. That to me is a major red flag. Like we talked about rocking the boat. That would 100% in my mind rock the boat here.
Kind of like Josh Hader 2 years ago with like Hader rules.
Even worse, Hader was still going to, if they made the postseason, at least he would be pitching in the postseason if he was called upon.
Right. So Crochet has said he would only pitch the postseason if he received an extension.
Those are the reports about Garrett Crochet if he were to get traded.
I mean, is that taking him off the market, or is he creating leverage where like, hey, New York Yankees, you want me? Give me a 5-year deal worth whatever, and I'll pitch for you in the postseason this year.
I also think that could be something that teams maybe leaked because the asking price for him may be so high that teams like that's ridiculous. It's Garrett Crochet. Like he's an all-star this year, but this is like his first year doing it. Mm-hmm. He's not Max Scherzer in his prime. He's not Justin Verlander in his prime. Like, I mean, yeah, he's under control, but at the same time, your asking price is ridiculous. So maybe that's something that got leaked or something that was put out there by other teams, because maybe now when teams go back to the White Sox, like, look, dude, if we trade for this guy, he's going to want a contract extension. There's no way we're giving you our top prospect for it. Or two top prospects for him.
So you believe, though, because Preller is like a big game hunter, and since we've heard the Padres and Preller linked to Crochet before, that he's at least checking in. I agree with you. I'd be surprised if the Padres didn't make an offer if Crochet was moved. Doesn't mean their offer is accepted. Mm-hmm. But you're talking about a guy. Now, the 2024 stuff scares me. I don't like what John Heyman reported about him not pitching in October. I mean, that takes away a lot of it. But you're telling me a guy that's under control in 25 and 26, and the Padres have been scouting for months. They're not going to make an offer at the end of the day for that would surprise me.
It would. I think the likelihood of a Garrett Crochet trade here is probably pretty low, but I think the likelihood of AJ Preller continuously checking in is probably pretty high. Mm-hmm. Because it's not just he focused on one thing. You know, AJ. And he's focused on multiple things at multiple times. So while the likelihood of this team going out and trading for a back end starter and a top end right-handed pitching reliever, well, I think that will happen. You also can't tell me that Garrett Crochet isn't still on their like whiteboard.
Well, I think he's not. You're right. There's probably on the whiteboard or in the Excel spreadsheet, there's got to be like 3 columns. There's front end guys. How realistic is it though? There's mid-tier guys. There's got to be a long list of mid-tier guys, right? Beginning with Jack Flaherty and ending with whomever. And then there's probably that low-tier group of starters as well, but it's better than the alternative, which is trusting Joe Musgrove, trusting you, Darvish. You can't trust Musgrove or Darvish to impact your team positively this year. If it happens, amazing. Mm-hmm. It's a feather in your cap. It's a bonus. But you can't go into the deadline and be like, you know what? We might get Musgrove or Darvish back, so we're good. I don't think they're looking at it like that.
I hope they aren't, because you can't trust Joe. I'm sorry, you just can't. Trust me, I want Joe to come back and put together 7 fantastic starts to end the season. And then they make the postseason, and then you might have some tough conversations, which would be a great thing to have 4 legitimate starters that you have to choose from for a postseason series. Like, that'd be awesome. But I just can't trust him. I just can't. So with that being said, I think that, yes, you're going to need a back-end starter for sure. Yes, I don't think they can sit there and rely on Joe. And yes, I do think that they're still checking in on Garrett Crochet, but the likelihood of that happening is slim, I do feel like.
All right, so we're keeping our eye on it because in the last 24 hours, we've seen real movement, including Randy Arozarena. On the other side, we're going to hear, speaking of Joe Musgrove, let's hear directly from Joe on his prognosis. When will we see him next? When could we see him back in the major leagues? We're with you until 6 p.m. We've got the Nile Horn tickets to give away. We're getting you ready for Padres and Orioles. We'll hear from Joe Musgrove on the other side. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Superstar Car Wash. Padres looking for their 6th straight win tonight as they take on the Orioles. Adam Major will be on the mound for the Padres tonight. Their final road trip or final series of the road trip, finishing up here before they head home next week. Trade deadline. Here's all the trades that have happened so far. Randy Arozarena has been traded to the Mariners. Zach Eflin has been traded to the Orioles. The Phillies are sending Sir Anthony Dominguez and Christian Pache to the Orioles for outfielder Austin Hayes. And James Paxton is being acquired by the Red Sox after the Dodgers DFA'd him a few days ago. Unbelievable savings at Superstar Car Wash. Lock in unlimited car washes for just $15 a month with the Clean Plan, available at any of their California locations or online. Visit superstarcarwash.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
Talkback Mike, just open the free iHeart Radio app with the San Diego Sports 760. Tap that little microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second talkback. We had kind of jinxed it. I know you talked about it yesterday. I said nothing has ever happened. Missed a show. Like, what's the biggest thing that's ever happened? Like, Franmil Reyes was traded. I mean, it was nothing of significance.
No,
that was huge.
That was kind of big in real time.
Yeah.
So we said that after game 2 in Washington on the wrap-up show, knowing that I was going to be off yesterday because I was having like dental surgery.
Right.
And Dylan Cease threw a no-hitter, which was so predictable based on the way we were talking about it. And I was driving home from the dentist yesterday, and it was the 3rd inning, and it was 8 up, 8 down for Cease, or he actually walked someone and erased him on a double play. But I heard, Jesse say, oh, he struck at 6.
You're like,
I'm
what?
like, oh, he struck out 6 in 3 innings. It's the lowly Nats. And then you see the play that was made by Merrill. And then you see the play that's made by Bogarts in the 8th. And I know we talked all about this yesterday. And of course, after saying nothing ever happens when someone misses a show, we get one of the biggest moments. Again, I think if you're ranking the top 10 games in Padres history, I don't know where it would rank because you've had 84 and 98 and other playoff series, but it would probably be inside the top 10 games in Padres history, right?
We talked about it yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, all right, that just going through the list of the big things that have happened in franchise history. Yes, the 2 pennant winners.
Yep.
Okay, the Garvey home run, part of 84, 98 when they beat Atlanta. Yeah. Tony's 3000th hit, Trevor's 500th save,
Joe Musgrove's no-hitter.
If you want to throw a cycle in there from Will Myers, the first in franchise history, you can. But that
Cease is above that.
No, Cease is above that. But I'm saying I'm not putting them in any order. I'm just giving you a top 10.
Yeah, so it's what, top 6? Somewhere in that neighborhood? Probably. Top 5, top 6, yeah.
It's top 10 for sure.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I'd put Cronenworth coming through against the Dodgers game 4 in that NLDS.
That's a top 10 moment for sure.
Yep. But Cease is there too.
Yeah.
Deservedly so.
I would say playoff moments, 84, 98, 2002.
22.
I would put those at the top of your list. And then you can
Musgrove.
Well, then I put Tony's 3000th hit. Then I'd put Trevor's 500th career save. Then maybe Musgrove in there as well, maybe above Trevor.
Yeah, I would put that higher than the save mark probably.
Yeah.
So it's a top 6, 7 moment in the history of the franchise.
And when you're watching it, it doesn't feel like it. Like when it's over, you're like, what? Whoa. It's an amazing moment. But as time goes on, like it has with the Musgrove no-hitter, it becomes a bigger part of the history of your franchise. And yes, it will definitively be maybe in just a couple of weeks, maybe today. I don't know. Definitively top 10 for sure.
Well, I think so. I think in watching it, it was pretty special. I honestly, because you're sensing something special is happening when Merrill makes the play on the Bogarts bobble. You're thinking, oh, wow. Most no-hitters have a great defensive play.
That was only in the 5th, though.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, well, now it might happen. I mean,
we're in the 5th?
Yeah, we texted each other by then. After that play, we said he's throwing a no-hitter.
What did I text you? Because I know I did text you something.
After that, you said he's throwing a no-hitter.
Hold on.
But you do this every single time. The last time he was working on a no-hitter, you texted me, it's going to be a no-hitter. That was 4 days earlier.
I did.
Yeah, and then you did it with like Matt Waldron or Michael King at some point earlier this year. I think when I was in Philly, you texted me about a no-hitter. Wow, so you do it every single time.
Here's the thing, John. We text way too much.
A ton. It was after the 5th inning we said he is throwing a no-hitter. I'm positive.
I said at 11:44 a.m.
Yeah. After that's when the 5th inning. It was an hour and a half delay.
I said, you're going to miss the Dylan Cease no-hitter show.
And I said, I'm cool with it. Because he is going to throw a no-hitter.
Yeah, he said, I'm cool with it.
Because I wanted to see him throw a no-hitter. I'll take the no-hitter and miss it as opposed to no-hitter at all.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of no-hitters, Joe Musgrove has thrown one. In fact, the first in the history of the franchise. He's also been sidelined for most of this year. He has spoken with the media about what is next and his hope to get back on the mound this year.
Do you know what your next step is?
I'm not sure yet. It's either going to be a rehab start somewhere or maybe go to Arizona and throw, like a put together a simulated game or something, but probably looking at, 1 to 2 innings, 25 to 35 pitches. And as far as where that is, I don't know yet, but I'm hoping that's going to be the next step.
Early next week.
Yeah, as soon as Tuesday. No games Monday in the minor league, so we could always do one in Arizona, but I think they're going to give me that extra day and then throw on Tuesday. So probably another bullpen here tomorrow or Sunday, and then Tuesday hopefully get in the game.
Generally, how you feel as far as your ability to extend, let it go, where your head is with coming?
Yeah, I feel a lot better now than I did even a couple weeks ago. Taking as much time off as I did from throwing 2.5 weeks or so. You go through aches and pains of getting back into throwing and building things back up. Kind of sat in that space for like a week or so, and over the last couple of days I've been recovering a little better. I've added more intensity and been recovering better than I was when I was at lower intensity. So I think it's all good signs. Mentally, I feel good. I feel fresh. I mean, a long time away from competing in the game. I've stayed very involved in the meetings and, tried to contribute as much as I can, but ultimately it's not the same as getting out there and playing. So I'm anxious. I'm excited to be, one step closer to being back here, but I think it'll feel good to be able to get in the game and compete a little bit and face some hitters.
My fingers are crossed. I'm not overly confident. I hope he proves people wrong. It is a long time to miss, coming off multiple injuries, one to a shoulder capsule last year, and then the other two, bone spurs this year in his elbow. So multiple months plus what he's been dealing with. I mean, to return and impact the team in a pennant race in September or October, I mean, that's asking for a ton.
A ton. Bullpens are not the same as when you go out on the mound.
Yeah,
and
throwing bullpens. Of course,
it's just not. So, hey, would be great. Would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love Joe. Joe's a huge part of this franchise. He's not just a one-off pitcher. Like, he's an all-star. We've talked about the no-hitter. And at his best, or close to it, he's a frontline starter. He's probably a 2 or 3, maybe a 1 on like a really, really good day.
Yeah, I think it's at least a 2, right?
Yeah.
I think it's $20 million a year is a 2.
Yeah. And so if you can get that guy back or close to that guy back for the remaining however many starts he's going to have here for the season, that's a huge boost. I just think it's kind of wishful thinking in my opinion. Personally.
Me too. I mean, Kevin was just with us. Kevin Acee, Padres Insider. He said, well, maybe Joe before Tatis, but he said with both of them, you're looking at late August. I mean, even with Joe saying he might throw some type of sim game on Tuesday, so Tuesday of next week, July 30th, he's going to make multiple minor league rehab starts. So do the math on it. He's going to throw some type of sim, 25, 35 pitches. We'll see how he feels. I think if everything goes perfectly, Jim, off July 30th, 5 days later, you're making a minor league start. 5 days later, you're making a minor league start. 5 days later, you're pitching the big leagues. That's like August 16, 17, 18. That's best case. Mm-hmm. And he also said Fernando potentially after that. So to your point, if you return to the big leagues August 18th, you're making 7 starts, something like that. So maybe 8. He's not making more than 7 or 8 starts if everything goes perfectly.
And he'll be under pitch limit for sure. And the team will be in the thick of it. Like, they'll be in it by a couple games, out of it by a couple games, whatever the case may be. That's where they're going to be unless they rally off 15 in a row. I don't see it happening. They could. Maybe. It's a risky move for sure. I think Joe, and this is the part of Joe that you love, like, he's stubborn from the fact that he's a competitor and he wants to be out there. I understand that. You want to be out there. You see this team in the pennant race, you want to help this team. You're getting paid $20 million a year. Yeah. Like, you're a huge part of this team. So I understand it from that standpoint. Like, and he's going to go out there and throw until his arm falls off. It really, that's how it's going to be. And he's either going to finish the season and pitch well for them and help them, or, like I say, he's going to throw till his arm falls off, and that's going to be that.
Yeah, the scary thing is, if it doesn't work out, I'm assuming a lot more missed time on the other side, because I feel like if it doesn't work out this time, you're going to have surgery. Like, you can't go back in the IL for an elbow. Like, what's the solution?
Over and over again.
Nelson Lamet did this and that. He was basically out of baseball. You still have 3 years left of this deal. The most deal after this year. Mm-hmm. So if he goes back to the IL, he's going to go into the ninth. But if he goes back to the IL, I'd almost prefer that, because if he doesn't go into the ninth, you're going to be dealing with this for years. You're never going to get the Joe Musgrove you saw if he doesn't get fixed. Now, maybe he's been fixed. Maybe this period of time off, everything's going to be all right. Guys have those spurs that we're not aware of, and they pitched with him for years. That's absolutely possible, but it's such a make or break for Musgrove in his career. Either gets back as effective, or he goes to the IL, and who knows what 2025 is.
Yeah. But from his standpoint, I get it. He's a competitor. He wants to be out there. He wants to try to help the team win. But if he's out there and he's not performing, then the team's going to have to step in because they can't afford to throw a guy out there with a 6-something ERA every fifth day and with elbow or shoulder problems.
Let's hear from Joe Musgrove or how Joe Musgrove impacted Dylan Cease yesterday. We will hear from Dylan Cease on the other side on the impact of Joe Musgrove and Jay Cronenworth as he threw just the second no-hitter in franchise history. We're getting you ready for Padres and Orioles from Baltimore. Camden Yards coming up later this afternoon. We're with you until 6 p.m. on Jon and Jim. Manny Machado returning to Baltimore, by the way, tonight for this 3-game series. Padres and Orioles. The Orioles are on hard times right now. They're 4-8 in their last 12. Salvaged a game in Tampa yesterday. They made 2 trades today.
Mm-hmm.
They've added Sir Anthony Dominguez, who was huge for the Phillies in the 2022 postseason.
One of the best names in baseball.
They've actually added 2 former Phillies, Zach Eflin,
Mhm.
starter, who's had a very average year,
Mhm.
and Sir Anthony Dominguez, who's had a very average year.
Yeah.
But again, Baltimore, they're 20 games over 500. They might win 95 to 100 games, but they're only 4-8 in their last 12. Do the Padres continue to have the success they've been having here on the road? If they win this series, you're talking about a 7-2 road trip.
One of the best road trips in recent memory of this length,
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
say, for how crucial it was and is for this team coming out of the All-Star break. So, yeah, I just, you saw the trend tweet from May 26th, the last
Yes, for
2
the
months.
Padres?
Yeah, exactly 2 months. It's been like 5-0, 0-5, 5-0, 1-5,
Right.
12-3, 1-7, 5-0. Like, is this going to continue? And by continue, I mean, is
Back down.
going to go back down? Are they going to start playing bad baseball again? Or are they going to get over this hump? And I'm not saying you have to win every game, but it would be cool if you had like a 2-week stretch or a 3-week stretch where in 20 games, right, you go like 14 and, I don't know, 6, 7-3 in those 10 games.
Well, they've gone 5-0. I mean, what about they follow a 5-0 stretch one time by going 5-5 as opposed to 1-5?
I think that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Well, that's the thing with the schedule coming up. I think at some point they see themselves out of this. I don't know when. I don't think at the end of the year with 7 days left, we're going to say, can they get to an upswing? They're 500. Because I think if they're a 500 team with 7 games left, they're probably on the outside looking in. All right. Dylan Cease yesterday throws a no-hitter. Remember, it almost didn't happen because Mike Schill tried to take him out of the game after 7 innings. So let's hear from Dylan Cease. This is from MLB Network Radio on how Joe Musgrove and Jay Cronenworth helped keep him in the game. Take a listen.
Yeah, I just I wanted to keep going. I really thought my stuff was good, and I had a shot at it. I mean, realistically, I wouldn't have, if he was really insistent on not letting me go. I would have respected his wishes, but he let me fight for it, and I just kind of laid out. I said, if I have a quick inning right here, maybe 10 pitches, I'll be at 105. And I threw 113 earlier in the year, so I've done it. And I'm kind of on pace to be right around there. I think if this thing goes well. So, and then Musgrove and Crony were there, and they kind of chimed in and agreed with me. So, thankfully we were able to talk him into it.
Thank God. You know how mad I would have been?
Well, yeah, you get mad. Yeah, I wouldn't have been. You would have been. It would have made for good radio, although I wouldn't have been on the radio, so it wouldn't have made for that good of radio.
But even off the radio, I was legit sitting there thinking to myself, you better not pull him out of this game.
I mean, people were tweeting after 7. They showed the video. They're like, he's done.
Yeah.
Shook his hand.
94 pitches.
Yeah, he was great.
Right?
It was 94 pitches.
94 pitches after 7. And thankfully
he shook his hand.
Thankfully, had a quick 8th, 9-pitch 8th. Finished off with 114, which is pretty good for
9 innings.
For a complete game. 9 innings. 114 pitches. Hell yeah. Patrick Corbin threw 109 and 7.
Yeah, I would have been concerned and worried if it was in the 130s.
Oh, for sure.
Because that's where things get really weird. Because that's uncharted stuff in today's baseball. If you stay in the 1-teens, I think you do it one time, you can live with it. Like you said, earlier this year, he had an outing in which he threw 113 pitches. And look at him right now.
Yeah.
And he threw only one more yesterday. Honestly, the no-hitter is amazing, and it's great. My primary thought moving forward is if this is who Dylan Cease is going to be to finish the season, not 9 straight no-hitters.
That'd be pretty good.
But the best pitcher in the National League, then great. This is gravy. The no-hitter's gravy. I prefer if he's just a sub-2 ERA guy, like a Blake Snell in the second half, or Musgrove with his best, or Darvish at his best. Just give me a sub-2 ERA for 10 starts and get to the postseason, be my game one starter, and you're going to be favored in that game one because of Dylan Cease.
Yeah, the most important thing is the team success. Dylan Cease is a huge part of that. If he is this pitcher, which last 3 starts is anything like that.
Best in history. Over 3 starts.
Just a massive boost for this team. And side note, this is more individual thing for the player. Dude, he pitches like this for the rest of the season or close to this, he's going to make his way into the Cy Young conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. His numbers
Because
are good.
his numbers are good. His ERA is a little high because of the stretch that he had there for about a month and a half.
He's
But
mid threes right now, though.
he's at 3.5.
Yeah, he can
And
finish.
he leads the league in strikeouts. He has a whip under 1. He's 10-8. I know record doesn't mean much, but it could mean a little. His opponent batted average, like all of his advanced statistics, are off the charts. I think his opponent batting average is under 200 this year.
191.
Right-handed hitters, they can't get a hit off him. And if you can get that puppy down, his ERA to like 2.7,
Well,
2.8,
yeah, it's going to take some work.
it's not like anybody's running away with this in the National
I
League.
agree. By the way, how bad is that a major, Ben? This bad. You know, they say in baseball, you're only as good as your next day starting pitcher. Baltimore's minus 200 at home today. I'm loading up the Padres. I'm going to trust the way they played. I'm going to trust that Adam Major is due for something better than what we've seen. And I don't think Baltimore, the way they're playing, should be minus 200 at home. So there's my Jon Jim for betting advice for today. Now they're facing a very good pitcher, but it's not Corbin Burns. They won't see Burns. Another advantage to the Padres. Chris Rodriguez is
He's good.
3.3. So it's not like they're facing Corbin Burns with a 2.4 ERA. The way the Padres are playing, yeah, I'll take the value of playing the Padres plus money tonight in Baltimore.
My
in
guess
game 1.
is after, Cisco's not, no hitter yesterday.
Yeah.
Pretty easy decision to have Adam Major pitch today because your bullpen is more than rested.
Absolutely.
Off day on Monday. Your starters have been fantastic on this road trip. I think their ERA this road trip is 1.1 ERA for all
Can't
of them
believe it's not
combined.
lower.
Probably should be lower. But you can unload the clip tonight bullpen wise. You don't need Adam Major to give you 5. He can
No.
give you 4.
Yeah.
Or shoot,
3
2/3.
Yeah.
And you have everybody in your bullpen ready to go. That's how I envisioned how tonight's game is going to go. Probably not going to see Adam Major for a long period of time, but if he can give you 3 2/3, 4 innings of effective baseball, that's all you ask for him tonight.
Yeah, how about this? When Major leaves the game, you're within a run. If someone tells you right now, Major leaves after 4 and you're trailing for 2 or tied 2-2, that's the goal for me. Can Adam Major leave the game and you're tied or within a run? I think you have a very good chance of winning the game. So, Padres and Orioles again today at Camden Yards in Baltimore kick off this 3-game series. The final 3 games for the Padres before the trade deadline. Much more on the deadline coming up on the other side. Plus, we will get to the wrap. Plus, still ahead here today, we're giving away tickets to see Niall Horn, formerly of One Direction, at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. This is July 30th, just days away. Ticketmaster.com for tickets and info. But we'll kick off hour 2 with the wrap, plus the latest on the deadline, just days out. Hour 2, Jon and Jim. It comes your way next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Superstar Car Wash. Padres about to start their 3-game series in Baltimore, moments away from first pitch there. Adam Major is on the mound for the Padres. Looking at the trade deadline, Tuesday at 3 p.m. There's already been a bunch of trades that have happened around baseball today and last night. Randy Arozarena has been traded from the Tampa Bay Rays to the Mariners. Zach Eflin has been traded from the Rays to the Orioles. The Phillies are trading Sir Anthony Dominguez and Christian Pache to the Orioles for outfielder Austin Hayes, and James Paxton, who was DFA'd by the Dodgers a couple days ago, is being acquired by the Red Sox. Unbelievable savings at Superstar Car Wash. Lock in unlimited car washes for just $15 a month with the Clean Plan, available at any of their California locations or online. Visit superstarcarwash.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
Jon and Jim. We're still feeling the magic.
The second no-hitter in Padres history. There'll be a sea of San Diegans celebrating back home.
Now it's back to work against the AL East leading Orioles. And that trade deadline is slowly creeping up. Is AJ Preller on the phone or just enjoying some crab cakes? Time to head into the weekend with Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We've got Nile Horn tickets to give away. We'll do that coming up between now and 6 p.m. We'll keep you updated on Padres and Orioles. They will get their series underway tonight in Baltimore as the Padres road trip continues. But, as always, should we do this?
Well, we do it every day at 4 p.m.
Yeah,
so.
most days we do it. There's some days we don't.
That's true. Something happens.
Yeah. We're keeping you updated, by the way, on the trade deadline as well.
Yeah.
A lot of moves. Orioles have made multiple moves today. Randy Arozarena was traded yesterday. Finally seen some movement.
Finally.
You know the Padres, they're going to make a move at 6.
Oh, yeah.
6 p.m. tonight.
Right, 6:01.
6:01 tonight,
Yes.
6:01 Monday.
Yes.
And then again, hopefully when we're on the air for the trade deadline on it. Tuesday right now, let's get to this.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Would you want the Padres to try and trade for Blake Snell?
Dude, did you see that with the Giants completely in a tailspin?
Yeah,
that there are reports of teams asking about Blake Snell and the Giants also shopping Blake Snell?
Well, I completely understand shopping him. He has no value for the Giants.
The only value that he has on the trade market is if the Giants eat his contract.
Yeah, he has weird value both ways. If you're the Giants, why would you keep him if you could get out from underneath it?
Mm-hmm.
If you're anyone else, why would you take him unless they're going to eat most of the deal? So, I mean, I would say this, like, is he worth a flyer if you don't have to pay for it? Yeah, he'd be worth the flyer if you're not paying for it. I would never give him what he's owed.
No.
Based on this year. But, you know, like, it's like maybe you can come home again. There's a comfort, familiarity here.
His last
Good
three,
last year.
His last 3 starts, John, have been actually really good. So maybe he's actually back to Blake Snell. So maybe he does have a little value with teams, even though he's had a horrible season because he just is. That's just who he is. He's never ready for the start of the year.
I don't think he has value at $30 million.
But just as like on the field.
Yeah, he's got value on field. I would agree with that. Also, if you're the Giants, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get rid of that contract? Are you trying to get prospect capital in return? Are you trying to do a little bit of both?
I don't know what the Giants are doing. They are in
tailspin mode,
an absolute disaster mode right now. I think Farhan's going to get fired after this season, which he probably should. He's been there for how long? And it's been downhill every year for them.
Is this Bob Melvin's final season as a major league manager?
Well, he signed. How long is his contract there?
3 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's not a great look. I mean, I guess I would say as a flyer, yes. If I'm not eating a lot of that contract, I probably would be interested. Would you agree with that? Would you be interested for little money on Blake Snell?
If they ate the contract, then yeah, I would be interested. His last 3 starts, John, 5 innings, no runs, 7 innings, no runs, 6 innings, 2 runs.
It's good.
15 strikeouts and 5 walks in his last 3 starts.
Second half Snell.
5 innings pitched, 6 innings pitched, 7 innings pitched. So second half Snell, there you go.
He's back.
Yeah.
Next question.
He's back.
Was it the right decision to have LeBron hold the American flag during the Olympic opening ceremony?
So it's him and Coco Vaughn, right?
Coco Gauff.
Coco Gauff, sorry, excuse me. Why did I say Vaughn?
Who's Coco Vaughn?
I think it's like I don't know why I thought that.
I'm afraid, should I even Google it?
No. No. Coco Gauff. My bad. Apologies.
I'll do it on my phone.
Yeah, it was. I think LeBron is the biggest athlete in popularity wise in the world. Maybe a bigger athlete. Well, okay, I'll tell you that.
No, I'm sure there's soccer.
In the U.S., I don't know.
Messi's obviously
in
bigger.
the U.S., because this is all we're talking about. In the U.S., he is the most popular. He's the biggest athlete in the United States. Messi, biggest globally. I get that. Ronaldo. Mm-hmm. But in the United States, LeBron, name me a bigger athlete, popularity wise. You can't. So why he was also voted on by other Olympians to hold the flag. There should be no controversy here.
No, I don't see the controversy either. I mean, he's a worthy flag bearer. It's not his first Olympic Games. You're right. He's accomplished a lot. He's been popular. He's won gold medals. Of course you could choose others. They have amazing athletes. It's the United States of America. They have hundreds of amazing athletes. There would be a lot of worthy athletes potentially to include other than LeBron James, but that doesn't make LeBron not a worthy selection. I don't have any issue at all with it.
None.
One, this is going to be his last Olympics. So it's kind of just, you've been on 3 or 4 Olympic teams, something like that. You played a lot of games. This is just like them doing a solid for him, this being his last Olympics. But this makes more sense than having Snoop Dogg carry the torch.
Yeah, of course it does.
At least LeBron is an Olympian.
He's earned it. He's absolutely earned it.
I like Snoop Dogg.
Well, so do I, but
LeBron makes way more sense, obviously, than Snoop Dogg.
Oh, 100%.
I love Snoop, but it's just like, come on. When I think of Olympics, I don't think of
there's no controversy.
There's none.
I mean, there's a couple of opinion pieces on it, but there's no controversy with LeBron James' flag bearer.
Yeah, I think if the opinion goes to LeBron is the worst choice to hold a flag and this and that, I think your opinion's going a little too far, and I think you should.
That's the Skip Bayless of the world.
Next question.
Did Tua deserve the contract extension he got from the Finns today?
A lot of money for him. Mm-hmm. That makes me scared because that's now Brock Purdy in next year. $55 million a year?
52.
52?
Yeah.
It's in the 50s.
Yep.
Highest paid Dolphin ever.
That's just the market of quarterbacks. I don't know what to say. It's just the market. It's not something that you say he deserves. It's just what the market is for a quarterback like Tua.
$53.1 million, third highest paid quarterback in the league behind Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. It's so funny. Every time a quarterback signs, we're all like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
Till the next one.
There's no alternative, and there's no reason not to do it. If you're one of the franchises without a quarterback, you have no shot. So when you do have some semblance of a quarterback, you have to get in line and pay them like you have a semblance of a quarterback. So that's what they've done. They've gotten in line. It's not like Miami's history with quarterback play since Dan Marino has been so exquisite. So they have someone that is good enough, so they're going to pay him like he's going to be there for the next 4 years.
And really, there's only handful of quarterbacks in this league that are worth $50+ million.
Well, there's only a handful of quarterbacks that are vying for Super Bowls.
Yeah.
If we look at the last 5 years, how many guys are playing in Super Bowls? Not that many. You got Patrick Mahomes. You got Purdy a couple times. You got Brady a couple of times.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. Well, Niners. We had who was their quarterback a few years ago?
Jimmy.
Yeah. Doesn't prove the point. My point is there's not a lot of guys that have played in a championship game or Super Bowl within the last 4 or 5 years, not named Patrick Mahomes, basically.
It's the market that got inflated by, I don't know who started it.
It's just the position.
I know Mahomes has the massive contract, as he should, 100% deserved. I'm trying to think of who was that quarterback that was kind of mid, not really great, hasn't really accomplished anything, and got a $40 million deal. Has that been?
That's definitely happened.
No, who is it though? I'm drawing a blank on who that.
Who's the quarterback that gets 40 every single time and doesn't do anything?
Trevor Lawrence?
Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins, yeah.
Kirk Cousins gets. What did he just get with Atlanta?
A lot.
What's he done?
Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones.
It's anyone that's
Tua.
the starting quarterback for a 4-year. If you start 4 straight years in the NFL, you're going to get paid.
Dak.
Yeah, everyone. Next question.
Ugh.
What day will the Padres make a trade?
Sunday night.
That's their first trade. It'll be Sunday night.
Yes.
I'll take the under. I think they make a trade before Sunday night. I think they make a trade before this Orioles series is over. And then I think they make another trade on their off day. And then I think they make another trade on Tuesday. I think they will make 3 trades between now and the deadline. You think they're going to make 2?
I think they're going to make 2. Yes.
And again, I was saying earlier in the week, when are we going to get movement in baseball? Yeah. Not with the Padres. Now we've had a lot of movement. The Orioles have made multiple trades today. Randy Arozarena to the Mariners late last night. I think we've seen 4 or 5 somewhat sizable trades within the last 24 hours. Preller's on the prowl. It's going to happen. Now, the thing is, I think what's proven out is it is a seller's market, obviously. The premiums are high for good players. So how good are they going? Are they going mid-tier available trade piece? Are they going higher than that with their bullpen, with a relief piece? But whatever it is, they have work to do. They need a starter. They need a reliever. And they will get, though. I mean, Kevin Acee seemed confident. I agree with him. I'd be shocked if the trade deadline passed. And wait, they didn't add a leverage reliever. They didn't add a starting pitcher. That, to me, would be shocking.
They could also make 2 trades for multiple players in one of those trades.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So they can make two deals for multiple players. Is that what you're saying? You say 3 new pieces will come here, or 3 different trades?
Definitely, I think 3 players on the Major League roster will be here between now and 3 p.m. Tuesday.
Okay.
3 players on the Major League roster.
Okay.
Or more.
More?
Or more, yes.
Dude,
or
I don't
more.
know about that one.
Or more.
More than 3 would be a lot.
It would. It would be 4. And it would be a lot.
It would just be a lot.
You're not. So you think? Well, you're thinking 2.
2, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
2 and 3 is what?
A roster move?
Yeah, with just 1 player. I don't think. Here's what I know about the Padres. They have done a good amount despite overcoming a lot. So, like, this is not the perfect roster, even though they're playing some of the better baseball in the league over the last 30 days. They had the 12-3. They've had a 5-0. Like, if you look at their last 30 games, they're 18-10 in their last 28. So they're playing some of the better baseball in the league, but I don't think that's solely based on their roster. I feel like they've overcome things in the process. And to get a good next 50-something games, you need to deal with your shortcomings.
Well, they have a good team and they have a good roster. And if you look at their numbers, they're good numbers. They just go through stretches where they completely go ice cold.
True.
That's just what it is.
That's true.
You know, it's not, I don't think it's the players that they have that aren't good enough. I think it's just like the stretches they go through. You're wondering, you guys just went like 10 games in a row where your offense was great, and now you haven't scored more than 3 runs in 6 straight.
No, I think it's the players because they don't have some of the players, like their 5th starter.
Well, the pitching hasn't been that big of an issue the last month.
But they have to have a 5th starter.
I agree with that.
So that's a shortcoming, right? They have to have it. Their 4 starters aren't a shortcoming. Their 5th is.
I agree, but to this point in the last month and a half, has that really hurt them or burned them?
That's the point, though. 2021, they weren't hurt at this point either. There's going to be a point where you can't lose every single time you have a 5th starter out there. And I'm not saying that's going to happen or not. I like the back of their bullpen. I don't love the middle of their bullpen. Now, you could say that about most teams. So I think that's an upgrade, too. And also, by the way, you're without one of the best right fielders in baseball as well. So we'll keep you updated on the deadline, on Padres Orioles. By the way, could we really see Charles Barkley leave TNT for another NBA rights holder? That on the other side. But as you know, the opening ceremonies earlier today, iHeartRadio is the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Olympic Games. And this NBC Olympic report is brought to you by Islands Restaurants, your local paradise.
The 2024 Paris Summer Olympics officially opened today with a first-of-its-kind parade of nations along the Seine River. Thousands of people braved the rain to watch the spectacle unfold as Lady Gaga, Celine Dion, and others performed. A festive mood in central Paris was dampened a bit by an act of sabotage on the high-speed rail system. Police say arson attacks on the infrastructure stopped trains going in and out of the city's major stations, but they're not calling it a terrorist attack. Food is reportedly becoming an issue in the Olympic Village, where athletes are complaining about inadequate supplies of chicken and eggs. They're also finding some of the chicken to be undercooked. Medals are on the mind of the U.S. men's gymnastics team in Paris. The Stars and Stripes are set to compete for their first Olympic team medal since 2008. Brody Miller says confidence is high among him and his teammates.
We're in a pretty good spot to win a medal, so we still got a lot of work to do.
The qualification round for men's gymnastics is set for tomorrow. This has been an NBC News Radio Olympic Report.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the fives, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take 50, 75, 200 grand or more out of their equity and wiping out that high-interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 619-207-4336. 619-207-4336. LoanPronto.com. 619-207-4336.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
San Diego Sports Traffic. Listen to San Diego Sports 760 on the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, sports, talk, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good.
All right, so obviously it wasn't everyone, and we can't hear the game, but Manny Machado, by at least some, was booed tonight in his return to Baltimore. Like, he's like the best Orioles since Cal Ripken Jr. Tonight, Kevin Yards, they have a huge crowd. It is Friday night. They have not drawn well this year, but they're good and they're drawing and they're back home. And Manny Machado in his return, now he's been there before, did receive boos at Camden Yards. That's kind of surprising. Why are you booing Manny Machado?
Because it's Manny Machado, John.
Yeah, one of the best Orioles of the last 40 years.
Okay.
Who was traded away. He didn't even sign elsewhere.
Okay.
That's weird to me. Is he getting booed if he comes back here? If he gets traded away after 8 years here, he spent, 8-9 years there? If he got traded away from here after 8 years, he comes to San Diego, gets booed? Why?
What did he win in Baltimore?
Nobody's won anything in Baltimore since Cal Ripken.
Okay.
So everyone gets booed?
And he didn't even win anything.
I'm just saying.
No, you're right. 83 is their last World Series.
Yeah.
You're right.
I don't know, John.
He got boobies, didn't win a World Series?
Is Manny Machado the most polarizing or one of the most polarizing athletes in
Yeah,
baseball?
when he's not on your team. But if there's two fan bases that relate, it's not the Dodgers. It's the Padres and the Orioles to Manny Machado, right? Because when he's on your side,
look,
you typically have a favorable opinion of him.
Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with it. It's not like Manny Machado won 2 MVPs there and won a World Series and they're booing him. Then it'd be like, what are you guys doing?
But why is he being booed, I guess?
I have no idea.
But you don't have a problem with it?
No, because if a fan wants to boo Manny Machado for
what?
Well, back in the 2019 or 18 when he got traded to the Dodgers,
he said he wasn't going to resign.
Was there anything? Yeah, was there anything?
It was known he wasn't going to resign. How could you sign 20? They didn't spend a dime on their roster.
I know. I don't have a problem with it.
But
it's not like they're booing like the Cal Ripken Jr.
He's their best player since Cal Ripken Jr.
Okay, so
what about appreciating those that have given you good years? This guy was in the postseason 3 or 4 times with the Orioles. I just, that to me is a little perplexing.
It's baseball fans, John. They're going to boo.
Maybe
that's not.
Maybe his career numbers with Baltimore, 822 OPS. I mean, he's a very good player.
Yeah,
with the Orioles.
How many home runs do you have with Baltimore?
A lot. 162, which would be like a Padres franchise record or close to it.
Close to it, yeah.
He's got 151 as a Padre. Very similar numbers, actually, between Baltimore and San Diego, by the way, for Manny Machado. I don't know why I'm so mad about it, but I'm very
why
mad.
are you mad? It doesn't matter.
Well, it's just disrespectful.
But it's baseball fans, John. It's sports fans. What do you?
You're saying sports fans just don't understand, or it's just like
when that player is not on your team anymore, you're not going to be like, oh, I love that guy, unless they won something like a World Series or a bunch of MVPs for you, or like is a generational talent on your team for a long period of time. Like they're not retiring Manny's number in Baltimore. They're not giving him a statue in Baltimore. So like,
no, you could absolutely retire Manny's number in Baltimore. What are you talking about?
You think they're gonna retire his number?
Why wouldn't they?
Oh,
yeah, probably.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
What's an argument not to? Like I said, name a better Oriole.
Why are we arguing about that? It doesn't matter.
Dude, the Brewers retired Trevor Hoffman's
number.
No, they
didn't.
Yes,
Did they?
Yeah, yes. And he played for them for like half a season. So they will definitely retire Machado's number in Baltimore.
I think they should build statues in Baltimore and San Diego.
I don't.
Well, I think in Baltimore he will
build a statue for everybody. John's Mr. like
Tyler
statue.
Wade.
Yeah, I really
all 26 of these guys.
I honestly, I would be all for a Tyler Wade,
That's not
like
happening.
a mini
I'm not
statue.
for that.
Statue of him catching the ball,
Dude.
getting the final out.
That's Bryce Johnson yesterday.
Oh, yeah,
Give me a Bryce Johnson statue.
like leaning in, lunging for the final out.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
Joe Musgrove's in your Ring of Honor, right, with a no-hitter. Yeah.
What? Oh, the Ring of Honor? There's no Ring of Honor at Petco.
But
there's the Padres Hall of Fame.
Is he in that?
He's probably, yeah. They put Fred McGriff in the Padres Hall of Fame.
So are you saying that the Orioles have a higher threshold for the Orioles Hall of Fame or the Orioles Ring of Honor than the Padres do?
I'm just saying the Padres
have put a lot of people.
The Padres Hall of Fame is, let's be real here, kind of a little bit of a joke for some of the people they put in there.
I know we've been in it before. I'm like,
seriously, but it also speaks to the history of the Padres not being that great.
I guess that's true. We've been talking about Adam Major. We'll get to this Barkley thing coming up.
Throw a strike, bro.
Here's the thing. Is this not proving the point? Like you said, hey, their starting pitching has been great. I agree, but they don't have 5.
I know, John.
So
I'm agreeing with you. I never I never said they didn't have 5.
You never said they did.
Right. I never said they did have 5. Mm-hmm. I just said that it hasn't killed them. Where every time Adam Major goes out, they lose.
No, I agree. And he hasn't pitched a lot because they skipped it 1 time or 2 times over the last couple of weeks, right?
If in like a 10-game stretch, in the 10-game stretch, Sean, if your starter, your 5th starter pitches 10 games for you, and you go 4-6 in those 10-game starts, from your 5th starter, you take it, right?
Yeah, I guess, but it also depends on how long they work in a game. Are they going 3 innings? Are they going 5 innings?
But usually the 5th starter's followed by who, John? They're
the number 1 starter.
And that number 1 starter is supposed to give you what?
I'm surprised you've been critical of Adam Major, who worked a scoreless first inning. I'm just saying, if you don't add a starting pitcher,
they will.
It is
it's fine.
Negligent.
They will. It's okay.
And if you don't put Manny Machado in the Orioles Hall of Fame, it's negligent.
Why do you you want to give him you want to give him a statue with every team he's been on? Dodgers statue.
Not the Dodgers. Not the Dodgers. All right, on the other side, could we really see Charles Barkley leave TNT? Plus, is he going to make up his mind on what he wants to do with his future? We have your text if you want to get those in. 70470. Start your message with the word team. We have Niall Horn tickets to give away. It's Jon and Jim.
Keg and Bottle is the best place to stock up on ready-to-drink cocktails, local craft beer, tequila, and bourbon for your summertime shenanigans. Keg and Bottle, 10 locations throughout San Diego, or online at kegandbottle.com. That's keg, the letter N, bottle.com.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-78.
All right, this update's brought to you by Superstar Car Wash. Padres Orioles underway in Baltimore. Top of the second inning, scoreless. Xander Bogaerts. Another single, John. Excited about that? Trade deadline is Tuesday at 3 p.m. Already a bunch of trades in baseball. Last night and today, Randy Arozarena traded to the Mariners. Zach Eflin traded to the Orioles. Phillies, they're also trading Sir Anthony Dominguez and Christian Pache to the Orioles for outfielder Austin Hayes. And James Paxton, who was DFA'd a couple days ago by the Dodgers, is being acquired by the Red Sox. Unbelievable savings at Superstar Car Wash. Lock in unlimited car washes for just $15 a month with the Clean Plan. Available at any of their California locations or online. Visit superstarcarwash.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
Xander Bogaerts, since returning from the IL, much to the chagrin of Jim, is
No, don't do this. No.
You walked it back. You did. You said you need more power from him.
Listen. I did.
Okay, thank you.
I did say that. I said, look,
Defense rest.
when you go when you continue to do what you're doing,
Then it's all good.
then it's all good.
That's what I was saying.
That's what I said. So you can't continue to give me
Okay, that's
crap
fine.
about it.
I could continue on
No, you
social.
can't. No, you can't. I'm done. We're done with this.
What about Bobby Witt?
Bobby
you
Witt's
wanna,
great.
you want to walk away from Bobby Witt?
There's no walking away from Bobby Witt. He's inevitable.
What does that mean?
He's always going to be talked about because he's the greatest baseball player that ever lived.
Xander's better. Xander's 500.
Xander's almost as good as Bobby Witt Jr. Not
Right.
not as good. He's almost.
9 games, Jim. 16 hits.
So I think you should delete your tweet.
No.
You need to delete this tweet.
I don't need to delete anything. In fact, I'm going to double down on the tweet and retweet it. I said another single from Xander Bogaerts is somewhere at Jim Russell SD is yelling that he needs to see more power from him. Jim is so mad he can't even do the show. He has to tweet.
You tweeted? And
I tweeted
you're making
during
me
the
look like I
break.
hate Xander Bogaerts.
Dude, you ruined his press conference.
I know.
All right, Charles Barkley needs to make up his mind. So he told NBA TV last postseason, I'm out. The end of next year, I'm out. I'm retiring. Today, he spoke and said that if TNT doesn't honor his 10-year, $210 million contract, he will become a free agent and consider opportunities with either Amazon, NBC, or ESPN. I thought he was retiring. I thought Chuck was retiring. But now he wants Turner to honor his 10-year, $210 million contract?
Here's the thing with Charles. I listened to his interview this morning on Dan Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
That does not sound like a guy who's going to retire.
I agree with you. You've been saying that.
It does not sound like a guy that's going to retire. It sounds like a guy that is going to negotiate with one of the networks.
I agree.
Amazon, ESPN, or NBC. And he will be a part of the NBA for the foreseeable future. He was asked by Dan if he would leave Kenny and Chuck. Would he leave those two to go somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
And he just froze. He didn't answer. He just was like, let me think about that. That to me signals,
yeah, of course
he will 100% go somewhere else. I think Kenny, Chuck, and Charles, Kenny, Chuck, and Shaq will be a part of the NBA here in some capacity. I don't know if they're going to be together.
Yeah, separate from each other.
The one person I think that won't be, unfortunately, is Ernie. Because Ernie, Chuck keeps saying he does not want to leave and he'll never leave Turner.
Okay, it's funny how people, like I've heard even, I think this week, like people are like, oh, inside the NBA can't go away. Maybe they'll go to Amazon. Amazon really wants them. Why would we think commentators are any different than players? I'm sure Steph Curry really likes Klay Thompson. Doesn't mean they're going to play together forever. I'm sure Draymond Green liked playing with Steph. Doesn't mean he wouldn't leave for a better offer. Why would Charles, Kenny, Shaq, and Ernie stay together? Because they like each other? It's about money. That's how life works. Charles wouldn't even be there if not for his $210 million deal. If ESPN would have offered him a $400 million deal, he'd be working with Stephen A. Smith. So I'm going to stand by what I said earlier this week, which is all good things come to an end. And I don't see how they continue with this exact version of the show. They're all great. They may work together in some form or fashion, but all 4 of them together with a new network, to me, seems far-fetched.
I mean, did you also see Mike Tirico is going to be the main
Lead
guy
voice for NBC?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually excited for the NBC broadcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it brings back the nostalgia. Like what they should do, and they're going to, because they promoted it yesterday on social media. I hate you. You bring back the song.
Mm-hmm.
You bring back the old graphics with like a modern twist on it.
Yeah.
You bring back.
I'm with you. It's going to be great.
Right.
Yeah.
You bring back.
Did you bring back Bob Costas to call games in like his 70s?
Marv.
Well, Marv already.
Right.
Marv retired though.
No,
So.
Mike Tirico's going to be great.
Mike Tirico's
I think he's great. Which will be the best of the 3? ESPN, NBC, Amazon.
I'm going to go with NBC.
Yeah, I agree.
I think NBC is going to be the best of the 3.
Where's Kevin Harlan going to end up? Amazon? NBC, because he's not going to be the number 1 in NBC because it's Tirico. And he's not the number 1 in ESPN because they have guys under contract. So is he the number 1 in Amazon?
You got to get Harlan somewhere. I mean, you already have Brain with ESPN.
Yep. He's your number 1. Tirico's your number 1 in NBC. So I'm thinking he might be the number 1 at Amazon, which is terrific.
That would be a home run. I just don't know about because I know he's part of like Westwood One and he's a part of Turner. Like, I don't know how that works.
Well, you're right. He's probably under contract with Turner right now.
Right. I don't know how it works, but that's a home run there. Amazon, I feel like their packaging when it comes to sports for NFL is not great.
I agree with that. I think Apple's been much better than Amazon with their packaging of sports.
I'm sorry, Al Michaels is done. I just don't like
that. It's a good hire because it's a credibility hire, but you're right. Yeah.
Al Michaels is just like over it.
Yep.
I think Kirk Herbstreit does way too much
he's working too much.
It's hard to do college and NFL. Like, what do we just?
Yeah.
He just sounds weird doing the NFL.
He's the best on an NFL. And I don't like their studio show. Like with what's her name? I forget. Is it Krista Thompson?
For Amazon, you're saying?
Yeah.
I think it is. Yes.
And then it's like Sherman.
It's weird and it's on field and it's a little set. And
it's not to me, it isn't not compelling at all. But if you could theoretically make a very compelling, good NBC like show if you involve the guys from inside the NBA.
I'm 100% with you, and Amazon could make a good, compelling product if they had inside the NBA. So it'll be interesting to see what Chuck does. But again, it's like, what do you want to do? You told NBA TV that you're done after next year. Then you tell Dan Patrick, Turner's got to honor my 10-year, $210 million deal. And they say, if they don't, I'm a free agent and I'll talk to these other networks. Like, it's a little bit disingenuous to me from Charles Barkley, because 2 weeks ago we heard you were walking away. So why do you care what happened with Turner? Because money, at the end of the day, it's hard to turn down money. You know, it's just hard to do that.
It is when someone offers you, he's making $21 million a year. Charles is there. He's about to make $30 million a year from a network
deal. Yeah,
dude, that's incredible.
It's amazing there's that much money in the NBA. This is how I look at it. I mean, I get it. Live sports, you know, is a popularity contest. The NBA is a big deal. It's not the NFL. This rights deal is $76 billion. I guess if you're $76 billion in on rights, what's another $30 million for commentators? Because you're spending so much money to acquire the rights. I guess it's worth it. But are people watching? Are people watching Pelicans Spurs during the regular season? I don't know. I don't know those people. I guess they are.
No, but I'll watch halftime of Pelicans Spurs if
Charles Barkley,
if Barkley and them are on it.
Right.
For real. You know, I might not watch the game, but I'll turn halftime on quick, or I'll watch post game.
It's going to be a weird time in the NBA when also Steph leaves and LeBron leaves and KD leaves, because right now Anthony Davis is a great player. He ain't carrying that torch. Jason Tatum's a great player. He ain't carrying that torch. Luka's a great player. I don't think he's carrying that torch.
Right. I guess, well, when MJ left, you were basically right towards LeBron. There were a couple years in there, right?
Well, when MJ left 98, that was
right.
the start of Kobe, Shaq. You still had
Iverson.
You had Iverson.
But don't you think there's just
Tracy
a natural?
McGrady,
You don't think
Vince
players?
Carter.
You don't think it'll just emerge automatically? You think when LeBron walks, it won't be the same caliber of star in the league? Won't just more stars emerge? Isn't that just how it works?
Yeah and no, because you need to have someone there ready to go. I feel like
maybe
because in '98 that was you had a couple years before Kobe became Kobe, but and also a couple years before Iverson became Iverson. Shaq was the guy. That's interesting. Who was the number one guy
in 1999?
Yeah, in that shortened season.
I mean, wasn't it like Knicks Rockets finals?
No, it was Spurs Knicks.
Oh, okay, Spurs Knicks. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. It was a little more boring then. The Spurs were boring that era. All those titles. There's 5 titles with like Duncan.
That was David Robinson, the start of it. Yeah,
but Duncan, right? In the 99.
Yeah, it was Duncan.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
a rookie, maybe.
I was a little boring, but my point is,
it turned very quickly though.
I just feel like someone's going to emerge. I guess I could be wrong, but I mean, aren't these networks betting on that? This is an 11-year deal. LeBron's not for any of these. I mean, 1 of the years, 2 of the years, maybe 1. It doesn't even start for another year.
After Jordan, we got very lucky that the next team, next Lakers, was the Lakers. Like if it's the Timberwolves now,
no, you're right, or
the Nuggets,
right? No, you're right.
You know, it just Wemby with the Spurs, okay, but the Spurs, I mean, the Mavericks, like you need to have that, like the Knicks, the Lakers,
like Celtics, obviously just won the title.
They won the title, yes.
Yep.
But Jason Tatum, I'm sorry,
I know it doesn't sell.
Does not
it's LeBron
sell
James.
tickets like Steph, LeBron, KD. It just doesn't.
I agree with you. I do. All right. On the other side, let's get to your text messages. You can text us right now, 70470. Start it with the word team. Again, 70470. Start it with the word team. We're just days away from Major League Baseball's trade deadline. By the way, the Aztecs will get underway with full practice next week as well. We're with you until 6 p.m. Your texts are next. Get those in right now. 70470. Start your message with the word team. It's Jon and Jim.
iHeartRadio Olympics update.
The first medals of the Paris Olympics will be handed out Saturday in swimming, where American Katie Ledecky is facing a star-studded field in the women's 400-meter freestyle.
It's obviously a great field, top to bottom, lots of people that have a chance.
Team USA's Caleb Dressel will begin the defense of his 5 Tokyo gold medals in the men's 4x100 freestyle relay.
For NBC's live coverage from Paris, search Olympics on the free iHeartRadio app.
In this week's Marketers Report, Angela Zepeda, CMO Hyundai Motor America, talks about audio storytelling.
People scratch their heads and say, why would you put your brand on a channel that doesn't show the sheet metal? But for us, it's about storytelling. That's driving a lot of brand awareness, but we can also drive a lot of intent.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the influencers, audiences, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
iHeartRadio and SDCCU's Stuff the Bus
Stuff the Bus
are collecting donations for school supplies.
We need your help.
More than 21,000 students experience homelessness in San Diego County.
School should be fun for everyone.
Make a donation now through July at any San Diego Jersey Mike's location.
Jersey Mike's.
Or at sdccu.com/donate.
Help us stuff the bus. SDCCU.
Doing good stuff. For San Diego's kids.
Team. Mets traded for a Mariners right-handed pitcher, and the Mariners 7 hours ago tweeted out "Happy birthday." The Mariners right-handed pitcher they just traded away. So on the
That was his
birthday
present.
of Ryan Stanek, he's been traded from Seattle to New York.
That's kind of awesome.
Such is professional.
Happy birthday.
sports.
You're a New Yorker now.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, we're seeing a lot of moves. A lot of moves. Like, not, I don't know if it's a surprising number, but we're nowhere near the deadline. Like, we have days, and a lot of teams are off on Monday, and we still have Sunday afternoon. Like, we're seeing a ton of moves. When does Preller strike? I think Jim said Sunday night is when Preller's going to strike.
Sunday
first.
night.
I think it's going to happen tonight at 6:01 p.m.
Probably.
I think that's when it's going to happen.
During this
tonight.
game?
Would it be during the? Yeah, it would be during the. That's a good point. Maybe not. Maybe not during the game. Orioles have made their big moves today. We talked about them briefly. Padres are playing the Orioles right now. I think the biggest story in sports today, we touched on briefly during the wrap. It's Tua Tagovailoa, 4 years, $212.4 million. The quarterbacks keep getting richer. I don't know what the ceiling is on the Dolphins coming off a wild card loss in Kansas City last year. In that very competitive AFC, like where would you put the Dolphins in that pecking order? Are they top half of the AFC? Are they better than that? They're not top 4, are they? Maybe top 7?
I will. Injuries did hurt them a lot last year.
Okay.
I think, was it Chubb, their defensive end? I forget who they're.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were in a meaningless game. They were up by like 30 or 40 or whatever. And he was still in the game and he tore his ACL.
I remember that.
And you get to Kansas City, you're not winning in Kansas City when it's 12 degrees below zero.
No, you're not.
And they need to have the only way the Dolphins will, in the foreseeable future, get to potentially a Super Bowl is if they are the number 1 seed in the AFC and have home field, because they are not a good cold road weather
So
team.
true.
And most of the teams in the AFC that are good
like
are
Baltimore,
cold road
Kansas
weather.
City.
If you play in a dome, that's great. And the only dome team that I can think of in the AFC is the Chargers. And
Well, it's like Vegas.
Yeah, they're not going to be good.
I don't think the Chargers will be an AFC championship game.
Okay,
will
so
they?
the Raiders and Chargers, Texans are Texans,
Yeah.
but going to Texans are going to be really good this year, I feel like. But yeah, this is going to be tough. I would put them in like the second tier in the AFC, below obviously the Kansas City, the Baltimore, and I'd put Texans up there as well. I put the top 3 in the AFC is the Texans to me.
The top 3 AFC. Texans is not the top team.
Top 3.
Oh, in no order?
No order.
Okay.
Kansas City, Texans, and Baltimore.
Better than Buffalo?
Yes.
The Texans.
Well, they did trade away Stephon Diggs to the Texans.
Oh, then they're definitely better. You're right. That Stephon Diggs is that's how you get to be top
And they
3,
also
right?
didn't make
When's
any
the last
side
time the Texans won more than 8 games?
last year.
When's the last time the Texans won more than 9 games?
It's been a while, John.
Thank you.
But they're also like a team on the rise, and CJ Stroud is like really good.
He is. He's very good. Listen to this. The 2020 NFL quarterback class, first 5 quarterbacks taken, 4 of them are getting $50 million per year. Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts are all getting $50 million. The only that's not getting $50 million per year right now from the 2020 draft class, can you guess?
No.
That's because you're not listening.
No, 2020 draft class.
Right.
50 mil. I don't know.
You don't know what?
Who the quarterback is.
That what?
That is not getting paid $50 million.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Jordan Love.
Okay.
But he's about to get $50 million. So that's amazing. The first 5 quarterbacks selected in the 2020 draft are all making $50 million or more. That's crazy. That's quite a class.
The market that I'm scared of. It's just
amazing.
like, what are we doing here?
But that's an amazing class. Burrow, Tua, Herbert, Love, Hurts. Now, no Super Bowls yet, but Burrow's been in a Super Bowl. Herbert's been great individually. Tua's been on a good enough team. We'll see about Jordan Love. Jalen Hurts has been in a Super Bowl.
Oh, the Texans won 10 games last year.
Put him in the Super Bowl.
Well, you're like, well, when's the last time they won 10 games?
Okay, tell me the last 20 years of Texans. How many times have they won 10 games?
They won 10 in 2023. They won 10 in 2019 and 2018.
Oh. Yeah. When's the last time they won anything in the postseason?
9-win seasons.
They've had 3 10-win teams ever.
No, they've had more than that. They've had a 12-win team, John.
They suck historically. Don't spin this any other way.
Remember those J.J. Watt teams?
Yes. What did they win in the postseason? Remember all those
they
AFC
won
championship
digits,
games?
5 seasons.
How many AFC championship games have they ever been in? Oh, wait.
Let me answer that for you. 0. What do you hate the Texans, dude?
I do. Well, last year was the Lions. So they'll probably end up being in like the AFC championship game.
But I'm just, you don't
they
think
have D'Amico Ryans.
You don't think the Texans are a top tier team in the AFC?
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm saying, like,
No,
out of
do you
Kansas
think-
City.
Who do you think?
I mean, I would just fall back on, I'd probably say the Chargers would be in line with the Texans. Or
No.
The Bills would be in line with the Texans.
No.
No, we've already seen the future. And
I think, this is my opinion.
Okay.
Bills, I think, have fallen back. Chargers, you got to show me. I mean, you have no wide receivers, and you're counting on J.K. Dobbins. Like, you still have a couple years away. The Raiders, no. Dolphins, maybe.
Okay.
Steelers,
no.
They're going to win 8 games. They're going to go 9 and 8 this year.
What about the Broncos?
No, they suck.
What about the Jags?
Nope.
All right, so maybe the Texans are the 3rd best team.
Ravens, Texans, Chiefs. That's my top tier in the AFC.
You're not high on Cleveland.
No.
And you're not high on the Bengals.
You're actually...
Yeah, they went 9-8 last year. They finished in last place in their division.
Joe Burrow stays healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say that the Bengals are fringe top tier.
Okay.
So...
Joe Burrow and his new Cody Rhodes haircut.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw that. It was great. I don't... Yes, he looks like a new man. He really
looks like
does.
Slim Shady.
He does. He absolutely does. Okay, so in the final hour of the show, if you missed our conversation with Kevin Acee, we will play that back for you at some point during the 5 o'clock hour. Padres and Orioles are underway in game 1 of their 3-game series. So they're underway there. We had Kevin Acee on the show earlier, right off the top of the show. So if you missed that conversation, we'll play it back for you coming up later in the 5 o'clock hour. Also, a reminder for next week. Let me pull it up. Yes, we do have Luke Bryan at tickets, which is a really cool giveaway. This is going to be a sold-out show. It'll be August 8th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. So if you've been trying to get tickets for that, that'll be one of our better giveaways we've had so far probably this year. Luke Bryan tickets, August 8th. We'll give those away starting next Monday. Huge prize. Show's going to be sold out. Luke Bryan, August 8th. We'll give those tickets away coming up next week. So updates from Baltimore where the Padres and Orioles are underway. The latest with the trade deadline. If you missed our conversation with Kevin Acee, that's coming up for you as well in hour number 3 of Jon and Jim, and it comes your way next.
Get in the herd.
The second criteria that becomes an NFL hit in the last decade, that you're on a stacked team, but you're insane productive. Joe Burrow's last year at LSU, 65 touchdowns.
Your coffee break.
So you're either one of two. You elevate an average college roster, or on a stacked roster, you're Superman. J.J. McCarthy's neither.
Weekday mornings at 9.
San Diego Sports. 760. America's finest sports station.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture the DQ freezer, home to all the Blizzard flavors of the past. Picture it opening to bring back the salted caramel truffle blizzard for a limited time. Picture that salted caramel truffle blizzard in your hands. It's all yours. No, really, it's all yours. This treat is too good to share. Everyone will have to get one for themselves. Hurry in to get this flavor before the DQ freezer closes. DQ, happy tastes good.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bank. That's bank. Enter it now.
All right, this update is brought to you by Superstar Car Wash. Orioles and Padres underway in Baltimore, heading to the bottom of the third inning. Orioles have a 1-0 lead over the Padres. Trade deadline is Tuesday. Already a bunch of trades have happened last night and today, John. Rainier Rosarena, big name, traded from the Tampa Bay Rays to the Mariners. Zach Eflin traded to these Orioles, and James Paxton is being acquired by the Red Sox after the Dodgers DFA'd him a few days ago. Unbelievable savings at Superstar Car Wash. Lock in unlimited car washes for just $15 a month with the Clean Plan, available at any of their California locations or online. Visit superstarcarwash.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
Jon and Jim. We're still feeling the magic.
The second no-hitter in Padres history. There'll be a sea of San Diegans celebrating back home.
Now it's back to work against the AL East leading Orioles. And that trade deadline is slowly creeping up. Is AJ Preller on the phone or just enjoying some crab cakes? Time to head into the weekend with Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim for the week. We've got you updated on Padres and Orioles and the trade deadline. If you missed Kevin Acee at 3 p.m., we will play it back for you coming up at 5:30. His thoughts on what the Padres will do in the days ahead between now and Tuesday at 3 p.m. We said earlier, or I said earlier, that if Adam Major leaves the game and you're within a run, it's a win. And Adam Major has left the game within a run. Now, the bad news is he went 2 2/3 innings, but your bullpen's completely rested.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 1-0 game in the fourth inning. I think they should feel fine about where they are, truthfully.
You hoped you could have you hoped you could have at least gotten maybe one more inning out of him.
Oh,
like
sure,
you said,
sure.
3 2/3.
Yeah, it would have been better. Yeah.
But you're not going to complain here because you have a rested bullpen, like you said. You're going to unload the clip tonight because you got Michael King going tomorrow, and it's a 1-run game. So at the same, you would have liked more from Adam Major, and unfortunately, he's just not it. It's just not. He's not a big league pitcher right now.
He's a stopgap. I mean, he had pitched one time since being sent down in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In AAA. So they just needed someone, and they got 2 2/3 innings. He allowed a solo home run. Not the worst outing in the world, but they knew when his time was up. I mean, there was a runner third, 2 outs in the third. They're like, sorry.
Yeah.
Time to go to the bullpen. They got out of it. So it's 1-0 in the 4th inning. Listen, if the Padres can win in Baltimore on the Adam Major day against the 12-4 guy, which is who the Orioles are starting here today, then you're really rolling. I mean, they're 5-1 on the trip. If you can, I think this would kind of be like steal a game. Major on the road against a guy that's 12-4, that to me would be stealing a game. So I don't know if they will or not, but we've said this plenty of times that, 1-run game, 2-run game, they find a way to win. So we'll see if they can here tonight against the O's.
Finish off this road trip on the highest of highs.
Yeah.
Come home. You're going to get some new players here. You take on the Dodgers. It's go time.
Will there be anything splashy? Now, again, I don't know what that means. Will it be any type of sizable name? Jack Flaherty, Mason Miller not happening. He fractures pinky. Did you hear that story?
I did, John.
Did you hear what happened?
I did not hear what happened. I just saw he fractured his finger.
His agent said it was a training table accident. Like he was working out and he awkwardly put his pinky down. And then who's the A's manager right now?
Oh, Mark Kotze.
Mark Kotze was like, no, we're not going to lie here. That's not what happened. We told him he had to work out after the game. He slammed his fist down in frustration and broke his hand. Like, oh, okay. That's an interesting way to deal with an agent and a player. But I see that's where we are. So
he hurt himself not only physically, but he's going to now have to stay with the A's.
I wonder if that's why Kotze said it, because Kotze is like, no, this is what happened. By the way, we probably would have moved him, but now he's hurt.
Yeah, and you're not going to get value for him like you would have if he was healthy.
So do you think the Padres will acquire a quote-unquote name?
I think they're going to try their hardest too
to do that.
I think that Garrett Crochet I don't think he's out of the picture, even though it's probably slim that he gets traded here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jack Flaherty's absolutely on the table. I think Kikuchi's absolutely on the table. I think Tyler Anderson's absolutely on the table. I think Cal Quantrill's on. Every pitcher in baseball is on the table for the Padres, and that doesn't exclude Garrett Crochet in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. The one part of the Crochet thing, we talked about it, I think 2 days ago, and you may have talked about it yesterday. We talked about it earlier, which is he wants an extension to pitch in the postseason, which is such an interesting qualifier. This guy that's having a Cy Young caliber year is like, well, I'm going to continue pitching every 5th day. Don't put me in the bullpen, but come October, I'm not going to pitch. That's just a little bit of a unique situation. So trade deadline is coming. You'll hear from Kevin Acee coming up at 5:30. Obviously, the story yesterday, we've touched on a lot, is what happened with Dylan Cease throwing the no-no. It's an amazing story that he had a no-hitter broken up by Luis Arraez earlier in his career with the White Sox after 8 2/3 innings. It was then Luis Arraez yesterday that gave him the baseball. Yeah. That's a rarity for any pitcher in the modern era to have a no-hitter broken up after 8 2/3 innings and then later in their career throw a no-hitter. I'm telling you, with Cease's stuff here that we're seeing, a little bit like Snell last year, but his stuff's even better right now. See, I wouldn't be surprised if Dylan Cease throws another no-hitter in his career with his stuff.
He's got the stuff.
He just does.
The moment yesterday that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And me and Brent talked about it yesterday as well, but it's the ultimate how could you not be romantic about baseball moment.
Right.
It's an amazing game for those types of things that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
How Luis Arraez is the guy that breaks up your no-hit bid with 2 outs in the 9th inning. I forget it was either last year or 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah. 2 years ago. And then you have an opportunity to get your first no-hit bid after you were that close. You get it. The guy that broke it up is now on your team, and he gives you the game ball. Dude, that's movie stuff type of thing. I thought that was incredibly cool. It was a little chilled type of moment. You get the chills on your arm, goosebumps types of thing. And I'm with you. Dylan Cease has the stuff. We've said that.
We have, yeah.
The second he got traded here, I was hyped about it. Like, a lot of people were saying, hey, dude, he's just mid. He's got a 4+ ERA.
Yeah,
really?
2022 is an outlier.
Mid. I'm like, dude, I didn't watch much White Sox baseball, okay? But watching Dylan Cease, dude had elite stuff and has elite stuff. His slider is one of the best pitches in all of baseball. And when it's going, guess what? No hit stuff. Yesterday proved it.
I mean, there were so many great stats out of yesterday. I know you talked about some of them. We talked about some of the wrap-up show. The one that stuck out to me was this: 6 times this year, he's gone 6 innings or more, allowing 1 hit or fewer. That's what we're talking about. The unhittable, no-hit stuff. 6 times. He's only made, how many starts has he made this year? He's only made 6 of his 22 starts, like 30% of his starts. He's gone 6 innings, allowing 1 hit or fewer. And his last 3 starts, and I know you've talked about this a lot, 6 innings, 1 hit against Atlanta, 7 innings, 1 hit at Cleveland, 9 innings, no hits against Washington. Is truly, and I don't have it in front of me, this is truly one of the great 3-start runs in baseball's history. Like, there is not an example of someone doing what he has done over these 3 starts, Jim, where it's 22 innings, 30 strikeouts, 2 hits. Like, that doesn't exist. There's no other example of another pitcher in the history of the sport putting together 3 consecutive starts like that. Like, it's truly incredible how he's put those together back to back to back the last 3 starts.
It's got to be an ace, and he's been an ace.
Yeah, he's definitely. Yeah, he has to be an ace, but I think he is an ace.
Oh, he is an ace. He was an ace, but even when he was going through his rough patch this year, it was frustrating because you're like, dude, you're better than this. Like, we know and we've seen it that you're not, like, don't be this guy because you're way better than this. It's kind of like when you watch Blake Snell pitch, you're like, come on, Blake, you're better than this, dude. Now, I think Dylan Cease is wildly more consistent than Blake Snell. I think Dylan Cease is wildly more trustworthy than Blake Snell. And I would put their stuff on par with each other.
Right.
And Cease, to me, those are some of the best pitchers with stuff in the league.
Yeah.
And to replace a Cy Young award-winning player last year with a guy who can win a Cy Young this year too, if he continues this in the second half, if he has like a bonker second half where he has like a 2.1 ERA.
You're right, I think.
Dude.
So credit to AJ Preller. And listen, I think we're fair, truthfully, with Preller because there's been a lot of downs and there's been some ups. And I think right now they're playing good baseball. But like, if you can't pull off Dylan Cease, if you can't pull off Luis Ariz, if you don't land Donovan Solano off the scrap heap, if you don't end up with Kyle Higashioka and what he's meant, Michael King, what he's meant, like this collectively, like Preller deserves credit here. I give Mike Schill credit. And of course, the team and the players on the team deserve credit. But Preller has pulled not every string perfectly this year, but he's pulled a lot of the right strings this year to put this roster together. Now we're asking him to do it again. We're asking him now at the deadline to go pull the right strings to finish off this team and guarantee that they get to the postseason. But it's hard for me to be critical of the roster construction done by AJ Preller to this point this year. It really is.
He's already made 2 blockbuster deals. So whatever he does,
has been pretty good, like grades on the deal as a Padres. Cease has been really good. Ariz has been good.
For a guy that has not a great track record when it comes to trying to build around the edges, Dylan Cease, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Luis Ariz has been pretty solid for you. Donovan Solano has been amazing. Jerkson Profar has been amazing.
It's a good point on Profar, yes.
Decision to start Jackson Merrill this year has been home run. Getting Jeremiah Estrada from the Cubs on the scrap heap, amazing. Like, I mean,
it is kind of interesting that they're not more than 5 games over. Now, 5 games over, what's their winning percentage? I mean, it's in the 520s now. Like, they've put together a nice season. Again, they've given things back before. We've seen the losing streaks. There's no question about it. But 5 games over 500 is not a bad position to be in. No. It's not at this point in the season. And they have a chance to finish 10 plus games. Again, we haven't seen them do that. We haven't seen them run away from anyone, but they're in a good position. I think they can be in a better position.
So Jeff Passan today released his latest deadline newsletter about Garrett Crochet.
Yeah.
Saying why Garrett Crochet is far less likely to be traded than previously thought. Other big names with traction in the market. Yada, yada, yada. This is an interesting part of his article
I'm
here.
excited to hear it.
Tell me who you think he's talking about.
Okay.
Things change, of course, with the 6 p.m. Eastern deadline on Tuesday, July 30th, fast approaching. Teams on both sides of the add-subtract coin might get desperate and do something out of character.
Okay.
One general manager on Thursday lamented the lack of high-end talent available and said, quote, I want to do something stupid.
Okay. It sounds like Preller, but I don't think it's Preller.
Really?
Because I don't think he should want to do something stupid with where he is in his tenure, as in you got to get in, and also with the way his team is playing, which is good. So why would I do something stupid with a team that's playing well in a year that I need to make the right decision? Like he can't bungle this. He bungles this, it could cost him his job. So, and I don't know. Does that scream AJ Preller to you? We've heard a lot of quotes from AJ Preller. He doesn't say much. Does he say something like that? I want to do something stupid. I've never heard AJ Preller say something like that.
I haven't heard him say anything like that either.
I don't think that's Preller.
But would you consider something stupid trying to trade
for Garrett Crochet?
Trading for Garrett Crochet and giving up Leo DeVries for it? Is that considered stupid?
I can't tell you. Until I see the result.
I think organizationally it can be viewed as that's really stupid.
Man, that'd be so interesting to see how people reacted to that. If I saw in 5 minutes across our screen, Garrett Crochet to the Padres for Leo DeVries and 2 other prospects, how people would react to that. I think by and large,
I think it would be. I think people would react very
negatively on Padres Twitter. Yeah. I don't know though if that would be like more of a loud minority. I mean, you're getting a guy that's got a 0.9 whip that's under control for at least the next 2 years. That would be an interesting conversation. What do you guys think? 70470. Start it with the word team. The Padres have really hurt themselves with defense here. In the 4th inning, they trail the Orioles 2-0 at Camden Yards. On the other side, is it the most wide open field in Olympic basketball history? Plus Kevin Acee, our Padres insider at 5:30. Stay with us. All right, speaking of the Olympics, let me tell you this real quick. Speaking of the Olympics, stand by. The opening ceremonies were earlier today. iHeart's the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics, and this NBC Olympic Report is brought to you by Islands Restaurants, your local paradise.
All is quiet at the Paris Olympic venues after an opening ceremony that was all about the host country. Athletes from more than 200 countries paraded on boats along the Seine River today before the Olympic torch relay ended with the lighting of a hot air balloon. Food, or the lack thereof, is a major complaint among athletes in the Olympic Village. Chicken and eggs are reportedly in short supply, while undercooked meat is also causing headaches for protein-hungry competitors. U.S. women's gymnastics star Simone Biles has submitted an original skill for the uneven bars. It's a variation of an element she's used for most of her career, adding to the degree of difficulty. It could be the 6th skill name for Biles if she pulls it off in competition. The U.S. women's soccer team coming off a convincing win over Zambia in their opener, putting Coach Emma Hayes in a good mood.
3-0, clean sheet, got to use the whole roster. I would have accepted that. So overall, I'm pretty happy.
The ladies return to action on Sunday against Germany. This has been an NBC News Radio Olympic Report.
Get in the herd.
If McCarthy doesn't work here, he'll never be a head coach again, because it's the scarcity of games. It's the one sport we watch in America, and you can't unsee stuff. That Green Bay loss wasn't just a loss.
Your coffee break.
And I kind of back Jerry Jones on this, and I like Mike McCarthy. You can lose, but you can't lose like that at home in the final game of the year. You're not getting an extension.
Weekday mornings at 9.
San Diego Sports. 760. America's finest sports station.
All right, mortgage rates are down. Yep, they've been dropping big time, so it's a great time to call Loan Pronto. They've got APRs in the 5s. That's right, in the 5s. So if you've got stuck with a high rate last year and you want to refinance, This is a great time to call and lower your payment, or you can use this opportunity to get cash out of your home's equity and pay off those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and other high-rate debt. Loan Pronto can help you use these lower rates to get the cash you need in a matter of days. You can do a full refi, or you can do an Equity Express line of credit. Homeowners who call Loan Pronto typically cut their monthly payments, listen to this, by $850. Bottom line, your home value's way up, and mortgage rates have come down big time, making this a great time to act. Call today for a free 30-second rate quote. You may be able to skip your next 2 house payments. Call 619-207-4336. That's 619-207-4336. LoanPronto.com, 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
We can make your bathroom shine. Right on price, right on time. Miramar Kitchen and Bath.
Hi, I'm Nicole Donnelly, owner of Miramar Kitchen and Bath. And what you might not know is I'm also chair of the local chapter of the Better Business Bureau. In these roles, I find that the slogan for the BBB, Start with Trust, and as owner of Miramar Kitchen and Bath, where we believe your experience matters, that's why our experience matters, are 2 key reasons to consider our company for your next kitchen or bathroom remodel. Just call Miramar Kitchen and Bath at 858-271-8434 to set up a consultation. Or visit our website today at miramarkitchenandbath.com. Then you can see why so many of your neighbors trust us and have experienced the expertise we offer to transform your spaces and enhance your lifestyle.
Miramar Kitchen and Bath.
Contractor's license 657333.
San Diego Sports Traffic.
Let me ask you this, Jim, because the opening ceremonies have been completed in Paris. The men's basketball tournament gets underway this weekend with the U.S. playing Serbia. Would you call this, as an Olympic basketball historian, the most wide open Olympic tournament in men's basketball ever? And if the U.S. doesn't win it, who would?
It's not, John.
It's not.
We're forgetting about like pre-92.
Since using professional play.
Yes.
Since using professional.
Well, I mean, they didn't win the gold in 04. They won the bronze.
Were they more of a favorite in 2004 coming in? I don't remember. I thought you were the historian. But you see my point. At this point, entering the event, are they less of a favorite or more of a favorite than they've been previously? Just because they didn't win a gold previously doesn't mean they weren't a massive favorite. They might have just been a massive disappointment.
Well, I don't know that, but it's also like it is nitpicking maybe because they're a favorite in every single game they're going to play, no matter what. And it would be interesting to see when's the last time the U.S. men's basketball team wasn't favored in a game.
Well, not since '92.
Like in Olympic play, not even play or like the World Championships.
I would say never. 1992, never. So what would the
Probably.
example be?
I don't.
I'm sure the games they lost, like you said, 2004, they were favored to win. Were they?
Yeah. I don't know.
Right now, by the way, minus 400, 4 to 1 to win it all. The next best odds to win this: Canada, Serbia, Australia. Serbia they play Sunday. Jokic, they just blew out. They just blew out Serbia. So I feel like anytime a team has Jokic out, that's viable, right? So that's what they'll play Sunday. We saw Canada in Vegas. We saw Team USA take on Canada. I didn't think Canada looked spectacular, but they did lead in the second quarter of that game. Relatively competitive game. They've got some really good players. Gilgeous Alexander, Jamal Murray, Australia. They picked the medal in Tokyo. So again, it'll be interesting. U.S. is a favorite. It'll be seen as a massive disappointment, but I wonder how factual it is. Like how massive of a disappointment actually would it be now that you got 60-something NBA players in the Olympics that are not on Team USA. There's a ton of NBA guys. Whether it's Canada, Serbia,
Giannis is there for Greece.
who obviously gave Wemby for the station, France.
Jokic for Serbia, who will play on Sunday.
And Bogdanovic.
Yeah. Shea Gilgeous, Alexander, Canada. Jamal Murray's there.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of really good talent. And the U.S. team's going to have to lock in. I was watching the 92 Dream Team documentary the other night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I just
Was it amazing?
Well,
Just their play.
Well, I've seen it before, but yes, their play was incredible.
Yeah.
But you also have to remember they were playing against teams that
had no NBA players.
Not only did they have no NBA players, their players were like me and you.
That's amazing.
And before the games, every single game was the other team wanting to take pictures with Team USA. On the bench, you had players with cameras taking pictures of Team USA while they were on the bench.
That's crazy.
For the opposing nation's team. I think the gold medal game, they won by like 38 points. Michael Jordan was playing 36 holes of golf every morning before they would have practice and before games.
I mean, nobody was playing a lot of minutes on that team because they didn't need to.
No.
Nobody played a lot of minutes.
But the fact that that this team, and if they win the gold and they end up actually, I don't know, blowing teams out like every single game,
okay,
then you can have a conversation about this year's team versus 92.
But that means they got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work. And oh, by the way, 2008 would like to talk. 2012 would like to talk.
Oh no, by the way, where's Kevin Durant? I know he's been practicing, but this is a big piece of it. If he doesn't look like prime KD, again, this team has struggled at times without Kevin Durant. They've been in games they could have lost.
Yeah.
Over the last week in London. Teams that quote unquote aren't good. They were favored by 42 points against Sudan.
Yeah.
They won by 1.
If your argument for why this team is better than the Dream Team, that the Dream Team was old because of Larry Bird and Magic, and they had Christian Laettner on that team, then you are just in LeBron's pants. You are just trying to, I don't know, just to I don't know why you're talking bad about the Dream Team, because that team with Michael in his prime, Charles Barkley in his prime, Patrick Ewing in his prime, Scottie Pippen in his prime, David Robinson in his prime. Yes, Magic and Larry were at the end, but Magic is still hoop.
And also, it's not their fault that the competition wasn't good.
Oh, Clyde Drexler in his prime.
But even if the competition was good with that team, you're thinking they're beating up on teams.
Karl Malone in his prime.
Right. So it doesn't, the competition's one thing. Sure. Competition's improved, but that team still holds up.
Chris Mullin in his prime. Like, I get it. That team would, if you had a 3-point shooting contest, they would not win.
Right. Well, it's a different world.
But Oh my God. You think Bam Adebayo versus Karl Malone or Charles Barkley?
Yeah, I mean, nobody will ever know, but it's a fair point. I mean, this team has a lot of work to do to be considered, comparable to the 92 team.
They might be able to hold their own in 3-point. They had Larry Bird, and Chris Mullen was a 3-point shooter.
Game has just changed
for
so
sure.
much.
It's just changed.
Yeah.
I don't think
you
watch
player for player.
Right.
Down
And I mean,
the roster,
Embiid's
they
hitting
couldn't,
threes
but-
on this team, and Bam's hitting threes on this team. All right, we'll hear from Kevin Acee on the other side, our Padres insider, with the trade deadline approaching on Tuesday. That's next on Jon and Jim.
Hear that? That is the sound of obstacles facing your business. But when you join Lenovo's free online membership program, Lenovo Pro, to support all your business tech, those obstacles just go away. Join Lenovo Pro for free. Visit Lenovo.com today.
Lenovo.
Unlock new AI experiences with Lenovo's ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors.
All right, sports fans, listen up. At Schaefer, we have found paradise, and we've told you about it. Circa Las Vegas. We were there earlier this month. We're heading back in August. Circa truly is a sports lover's dream, has the largest sports book in the state of Nevada, and an incredible stadium swim, which has rooftop pools, 6 of them. Massive outdoor video boards to watch every single game across all sports, including every Padres game is on at Stadium Swim. It's open 365 days a year. Here's the other good news. Circa's 21 plus. There's nothing to worry about other than sports. Speaking of which, the biggest pro football contest in Vegas, they are back. Circa Survivor and Circa Million, now up to $16 million in guaranteed prizes, 2 ways to win and no rake. Circa Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed. They have quarterly payouts and full season payouts. You enter in Nevada, but you play from anywhere, including right here in San Diego. So visit circasports.com. That's circasports.com for details.
Are you self-employed? If you are a business owner facing scrutiny, let Men's Legal Center help you navigate the family court system. Don't let misconceptions about your income affect your case. It's crucial to have our skilled attorneys by your side to ensure you're not overpaying support, especially with California's sky-high rates. We help protect your rights and interests. Get your free case review at menslegal.com. That's menslegal.com.
Some people just know safe drivers save more with Allstate. Just like they know that's the mating call of a blue-footed booby. And not a green-footed booby. Yeah, some people know that. And they know if you're a safe driver, you can save up to 40% with Allstate. Ain't that something?
Based on the national average premium savings for Allstate customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
San Diego Sports now.
All right, this update is brought to you by Superstar Car Wash. Score update in the Padres-Orioles game. We're already in the top of the 6th, then in 2-0 Orioles over the Padres. Trade deadline just a couple days away. Here's some trades that have happened already. Randy Arozarena was traded from the Rays to the Mariners. Zach Eflin was traded to these Orioles. Phillies are also trading Sir Anthony Dominguez and Christian Pache to the Orioles for outfielder Austin Hayes. And James Paxton, who was DFA'd a couple days ago by the Dodgers, is being acquired by the Red Sox. Unbelievable savings at Superstar Car Wash. Lock in unlimited car washes for just $15 a month. available at any of their California locations or online. Visit superstarcarwash.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
With our Padres insider Kevin Acee, we started the conversation talking about not just Dylan Cease yesterday, but his recent dominance and what impressed him most about the performance yesterday in DC.
It's hard to top a no-hitter, right? But everything has to come together, and there have been a lot of really good games pitched where a guy didn't get a no-hitter, right? But what's amazing to me is this running song. This no-hitter is good for him. He got that, and he will always be known for that. That's what we call immortal, right? His memory, his legacy now includes a no-hitter, and he. It just felt like he was going to get it. It did, and especially the play in the fifth inning where it's man, you got to have one of those, and that was about as good as it gets with Xander Bogaerts and him. Xander, by the way, was talking about it. He didn't want to get hit by Jackson Merrill, and so he got the ball hits his glove, it goes up, and Jackson Merrill's right there. I mean, that was mind-boggling, and it just felt like Dylan was so dominant, but it's felt like that for 2 weeks now. 3 starts in particular, and 22 innings, 30 strikeouts, 2 hits, no runs. That has never been done in baseball. That's what I can't get over is how good he's been. And the fact that, and I wrote about this a couple weeks ago, that he I had some screenshots in my newsletter about the difference in his delivery and that he brought the glove in closer. Well, just today, he's talking about it, and I didn't realize this. That was on accident, basically. They thought his pitches, he was tipping something. So they decided to bring his glove in closer, and he threw the ball, and he's like, wow, it feels really good. And he changed his delivery, and since then he hasn't a lot of runs.
Yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic with the emergence now of Dylan Cease. Hopefully this continues for the rest of the season. Michael King and Matt Waldron, and they have a pretty good 1-2-3 here, Kevin. And we know the trade deadline coming up on Tuesday. Is AJ Preller still, you think, looking for a frontline starter, or what's the latest with what you've heard about what AJ Preller is actually looking for here coming up at the deadline in about a couple days?
It's always been a reliever, a right-handed reliever, and a back-end starter. And now more than ever is the word, because Joe Musgrove does look to have shown that he can get through this and return this year. Now, look, he's still got to go out and throw 4, at least, maybe 5 rehab starts, and then come back. He would like to be built up by the time he comes back so he can hit the ground and be a productive member of the rotation. So there's still work to be done. I'm not saying Joe Musgrove is back, but the excitement that I felt from people yesterday was different, and the excitement from Joe was different. He went all out in a bullpen on Wednesday at National Park, and it was like this big test that they passed. So Joe's coming back, and Randy Vasquez has stepped up, and I would include him in there. I'm not saying he's up at the level of 3 guys that you mentioned, but he's been really good for a number 4 starter. And so they feel really good about what they've got. Maybe not so much the guy going tonight, Adam Major, but that's okay because sometimes you have to have these starts, right? So it is about a guy who can give them 7 or 8 starts and better than Rich Hill. But maybe what Rich Hill was early with the Pirates last year, what they thought they were getting with Rich Hill. And that is something that they, at least people that I've talked to, they feel like that's a good market to be in. As much as there are people out there, so many teams and teams with better prospects and with more money, but those teams might be going for higher end starters. The Padres feel like there's a good open market for them to find a 4 or 5 starter.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. He's in Baltimore where the Padres and Orioles will play game 1 of a 3-game series coming up in 1 hour. Speaking of health updates, you just had one on Joe Musgrove. Is there an update on Fernando Tatis Jr.?
There's not an update on him. He continues to, do stuff. And that's about the update that you can expect or would want at this point. I believe, are we talking where it'll be a week, 2? So maybe next week, I haven't checked on this in the last few days, but maybe next week, another MRI, see where the stress reaction is at. And, he could intensify further, could even be clear to start like hitting against live pitching. So that would be great. Now that's me getting ahead of myself or ahead of him. But that's where we're at, is that both he and Joe probably end of August, and it could be, since Joe probably is going to do a rehab on Tuesday, probably a rookie ball, just a real preliminary rehab. Joe before Fernando could be at this point.
Back to the trade deadline, Kevin, as we get closer here, is it more apparent to you that, yeah, Ethan Salas and DeVries are 100% off limits here?
Yeah, but this is why I hate the trade deadline. Yes, it has always been that way. And then we get close, and a couple people telling me, "Oh, I wouldn't necessarily say that," and I'm just like, whatever. They're just that's not what they're going to give up. They don't believe that they need to, and also they believe they need to have guys like that. Plus, the thing that people got to remember, like they shaved $100 million off their payroll for a reason. And going forward, it's not going to be getting higher, or at least not exponentially higher. Might go up with inflation, but it's their payroll is they need to keep it under control. And the fact is, they're already paying a lot of players, and it's like, no matter what you're going to do at the trade deadline, you need the guys you have, like Manny Machado, to perform. And so if you'd be talking about giving up DeVries, Salas, you'd be saying that you're going out to get top end. Now probably a pitcher, yeah, but you'd be talking about you're going out to get a top end guy, and they don't think that they should have to do that, because look, no matter what they do, like I said, there's a belief in the organization, we've got a good team, and so why would we spend? We don't need to do that.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. I'll follow down that path, though, because we've heard Preller having interest in Crochet, Garrett Crochet, the White Sox, at least over periods of time over the last few months. Now, I don't think it's a perfect fit for 2024. He's up against maybe an innings limit. He's talked about a desire for an extension. He is under control right now through 2025 and 2026. Based on everything you've heard and what you just said, would that kind of rule out the possibility of someone like Crochet potentially for this year at this deadline?
That's what everyone says. I thought that, and I think that all the reporting all along actually was that it was pretty much a long shot. But I thought that all along they loved him. They were committing an awful lot of resources to watching him, because that's what AJ Preller does. Where there's a will, there's a way. Is how he charges after things. But once other teams were on him, especially really on him. That just seems highly unlikely. And look, if there's anyone who's going to kind of do something creative, okay, let's get a guy who isn't going to pitch for us in the playoffs. We'll make it work somehow, I guess. I'm always nervous because you never rule that out for AJ. But the fact is, it's a really important year for the Padres, and that's an awful lot to give up for a guy who isn't going to help you this year. And then working an extension, I don't think people are really paying attention to the financial situation of the Padres. Garrett Crochet's extension is going to be pretty healthy.
Yeah, it should be whenever he gets that. Donovan Solano, he's only played one time since the All-Star break. I know that Xander Bogaerts is playing great right now, but are they are they going to find ways to get him in there more, or is he just going to be now what he is, which is pretty much a predominant bench piece for this team?
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. It just feels like Donovan Solano, since there's not a lot out there, though I guess stuff is starting to open up. If Donovan Solano at whatever the rest of his price would be, might be something that you can package with somebody for a team that needs somebody who's hitting 300, right? Donovan Solano's not a fluke. He hit 280 over the last 2 years, I think. And this year is showing that he can still play. It just feels that Donovan Solano is a luxury the Padres can't afford right now. And he's the one you're going to trade. You can make me an argument that he should be playing for the Padres, and I'm not going to argue with you. But he's the one you can trade. You can't trade Xander Bogaerts. You can't trade Jake Cronenworth. There's just limitations on that. So it just feels like Donovan Solano is an extraneous guy. All things considered, he doesn't play the outfield. Like, you can ask me, why is Bryce Johnson playing? Well, I don't know. He plays good defense, and Peralta has not done great, even though he's pretty good in his career against lefties. Like, that would be your answer. That's what's happening. But like, Donovan Solano can't replace Bryce Johnson, so like, where's he gonna play? You're already having Luis Ariz do something that he's not exactly the biggest fan of, and that's being a DH. And actually, none of these guys like being DHs. So that's a lot of words for me to tell you they've got too many infielders.
I mean, I think the easy solution, which I don't know if Schultz been asked about it yet, I may have,
Tell me.
is why is Jake Cronenworth playing against left-handed pitching when Donovan Solano's a 300 hitter this year and Jake's hitting 200?
Yeah, so it's a decent question. Look, there have been times that Jake has certainly come through big against lefties. They do seem to have a soft spot for Jake, as I do, because I think he's a winning player. They really like his defense, and look, going whatever it is, 0 for 10, I think, against lefties at this point, or maybe it's even more than that. It's his last 12 at bats, something like that. Has brought the batting average down. It was on its way back up. So I don't know that that's like, okay, they faced 2 lefties in the last 20 games, I think. So there's a partial solution. Or before they just faced 3 in a row. They had faced like 2 in quite some time, right? So like, that's a partial solution, but then also, I just don't think that's the full solution, but that is absolutely something that that would be an easy fix on days like yesterday.
Kevin, before you go, I know Bryce Miller, your colleague, columnist at the UT, wrote about both Donovan Solano, but also Ha-Seong Kim. Kim, a regular on a good team that's playing good baseball. I know it's not his best year, maybe offensively. You'd be very surprised if Ha-Seong Kim moved, right?
I would be for a lot of reasons, because not having the greatest year. I mean, that's just, And all you hear about is that he's going to be a free agent next year because mutual options, that's just what that means. Like, I think he's overpaid right now. And I think, but free agency is a different story, and I'm sure he'll get more than $7 million next year. But you're talking about like renting Ha-Seong Kim, that just doesn't make sense. Plus, look, again, they believe they've got a good team, and a part of that is the chemistry. And if Ha-Seong Kim didn't bring anything to the team, then I wouldn't be talking about chemistry. But he does bring value to the team. And then he's also extremely well-liked and close with a lot of very important players on this team. And I just don't know that there's a real upside to that. So those two things, the fact that I don't think the demand is great, certainly not as great as it was before the season. And also, I just don't think it makes sense for them to part with Ha-Seong.
Busy time of year, no question about it. Kevin, we always appreciate your insight. We'll do it again next week when the Padres are back home, and thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, we'll have 2 new pitchers by then, a reliever and a starter. We'll talk
Guarantee it, Kevin. Guarantee it.
Talk to you later.
All right, Kevin Acee, our Padres insider. Jim's back page is next.
iHeartRadio Olympics update.
U.S. women's soccer will go for its second win of the Paris Olympics on Sunday against Germany. Team USA coach Emma Hayes is happy with her side after opening the tournament with a win over Zambia.
3-0, clean sheet, got to use the whole roster. I would have accepted that, so pretty happy.
Meantime, U.S. women's basketball stands for an 8th straight gold medal. Begins Monday against Japan.
For NBC's live coverage from Paris, search Olympics on the free iHeartRadio app.
Nutty Barrel in the East Village has been the go-to for sports fans since 2011. With a full DirecTV package and close to 100 beers on tap and Texas-style barbecue every weekend. Nutty Barrel, East Village. Getting nutty in East Village since 2011.
Southbound 125 at the 94 in Lemon Grove. You have an accident on the right shoulder. Both sides of the 125 are going to be heavy between the 8 and the 94. Southbound 805 remains busy as well. La Jolla Village Drive down past the 94 to Imperial Avenue. I'm Jaron Edwards with a look at San Diego traffic.
All right, what difference a half inning can make? The Padres now lead the Orioles in Baltimore game 1-4-2. We'll talk about it tonight on the wrap-up show on YouTube at 9:30 Pacific. Hopefully you can join us then 9:30 following game 1 of the series between the Padres and the Orioles. But right now, let's get to this.
It's time for Jim's Back Page.
Gotta blame the fans and the media. And after that, it's the lineman's fault, it's the coach's fault, the owner's fault, the referees.
3 stories that you might have missed.
A screen-matched Y-Wing starfighter from Star Wars A New Hope in 1977, John. Sold at an auction today for $1.55 million.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Dude,
Star Wars Starfighter.
Yeah, you know the Y-Wing brand?
Let me see it.
Bombers.
Yeah.
How big is it?
Probably like that big.
Well, nobody can see it, but
well, if you're watching on YouTube.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that's a lion's share of the audience right now.
Probably is.
Yeah, don't worry about people with their cars.
It's about yay big. I don't know. It's like the size of 2 computers, maybe. Like laptops.
So for 1.55 mil.
Yeah.
Wow.
A screen matched. I don't know exactly what that means, but maybe that was on. It was on screen. Like, dude, if I was one of the people that worked on the 1977 Star Wars film,
yeah,
man, I better hope. I would hope that they took something home because $1.55 million,
that's
dude.
True.
Crazy.
That is
money.
crazy.
Crazy money. Ryan Day,
Ohio State head
coach, has told his team he wants them to play college football 25 so they can study Ohio State's opponents. What do you make of that?
He wants to play to study his opponents, it's not like the real playbook.
I know that. But
So- what are you asking?
Never mind.
If by playing opponents, he'll get like a feel for who he's playing this year?
Sure.
I don't buy that. Do you?
What do you mean?
Is that an advantage?
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I don't buy. He might just want to play, but it's not like you play Penn State in the game and now you got a good feel for Penn State's offensive line.
Ohio State defensive end Jack Sawyer told a reporter that Ryan Day told his team to play the new college football video game to help them learn about their opponents.
Okay, that's interesting. What do you got, Brent?
Going back to your previous story, screen matching is a process that uses inconsistencies and identifying marks on a prop to determine when it was used in a film.
Oh.
So pretty much that just means they're going to go, okay, based off of this mark and this paint smudge here, that was used right there at the hour and 29-minute mark of the movie.
Wow.
It's pretty much like a verification process
Interesting.
to say that this was used in the film.
Boneless chicken wings, John, in Ohio can have bones, according to the Ohio Supreme Court.
Wow, someone sued about that?
In a 4-3 decision today.
Wow.
If I bought a boneless wing and there was a bone in it, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
The state's highest court ruled that the lower courts properly dismissed Michael Birkenheimer's 2017 lawsuit against a restaurant and its chicken supplier. In 2016, Michael and his wife and a few friends dined at Wings in Brookwood. They ordered boneless wings, and they said they got bones in them.
Mm-hmm.
And Thursday, the majority of Ohio Supreme Court ultimately concluded that boneless wings refers to a cooking style and is not a guarantee that fragments of bones would not be present.
That's kind of fascinating. But that would be like if I said, hey, I want a steak, and then they brought me chicken. It's like different.
Well, no, it'd be like if you ordered a steak that traditionally doesn't have bones in it and they brought you a T-bone. And it was like, oh, here, you
Yeah, I
ordered no
guess.
bone.
Yeah,
But here,
I
have
guess.
a bone anyways.
Right.
Be weird.
I'm going to take this to the Ohio Supreme Court.
Yeah, I don't know if we're suing
Yeah.
over. I would want to demand my money back.
I hope that's US Supreme Court. All right, that,
all the way up.
that was a very good backstage and very good. All right,
Wasn't backstage.
join us tonight on YouTube. We will wrap up Padres Orioles game 1 of a 3-game series. We are back Monday here on San Diego Sports 760 at 3 p.m. Great giveaways next week. Brian, tickets. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, and Spotify. If you're listening to us on podcast, please leave a review. What are we listening to? Poor Brent.
Oh, you weren't here today.
Music is just
we're living
off.
life random.
Brent and Jim.
Radio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Coming back to Las Vegas, September 20th and 20th.